And hello, everybody. We are live here with episode number 3, the Crystal Crusaders. I am joined by 3 of my lovely players today. Mike, unfortunately, could not make it, so we're down to just James, Thor, and Zach. Um, but the show must go on, as they say, and we have played with a small number of players before, so it's nothing new. So we're just going to continue giving us the recap of what happened on the last episode. Is going to be James this week, also known as Alexei. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass things over to him to tell us what happened last time on the Crystal Crusaders.
All right, let's see how this goes. All right, so last time we picked up right where we left off. After we killed those giants outside the walls of Bryn Shander. Um, yeah. After we did that, we went off and looked inside their little sacks to see what we could pick up. I think we found a massive crown that had loads of gemstones, if I recall correctly, that Lucas took. Um, and we also found what we determined to be called a bloodstone. The bloodstone was apparently this device used to track whosever blood is in the stone, and using our amazing powers of deduction, we determined that it would probably be in relation to the person that we were looking for, whose name I'm sure I noted down somewhere. Laniver Stryle. That was it.
No,
No?
No,
The
no,
no,
wrong name?
that is definitely
that's
Landis
the
Trial is the
wrong
guy.
name.
It's not Landis Trial. It's Artis Simber.
Artis Simber, that was it. Who we
Mine
determined
is
is probably Artis Simber. So, using said bloodstone, we used it to track down Laniver's trial, right? Cool. I'm gonna take that as a yes.
no.
What the hell are my notes then? I noted this stuff down.
Your notes are useless. That's what they are, James.
Landis Trial is
Were
a
you
agent
drunk?
of the. Landis Trial is an agent of the Lord's Alliance, who we were told. I believe it was Lord's Alliance. Who
Order
we
of the
were
Gauntlet.
told. No, of the Gauntlet. Yeah, of the Gauntlet. Yes, my bad. Yes, he's a member of the Order of the Gauntlet who Sir. What's his name? Sir Barrack. Sir Barrack told us that we could meet down in Neverwinter if we ever find ourselves down there.
I'm gonna take this name out.
Cyric.
Yeah, that was it. Cyric. Used the bloodstone to track down Cyric, have a word with him, and he told us the story about how Artis Simber went missing many years ago, and we had to go find him. So after we had some words with Sheriff Markham, where he said that he wouldn't be able to, give us a whole lot of assistance, we then set out onto the snowy plains to find this giant, following the tracks that were left behind after the attack yesterday. And after we moved along and followed them, we found the giant tracks eventually. And it was at that point we encountered the dragon. After we moved over, we found a couple giants, a wolf, and a dragon. The dragon proceeded to kill one of the giants immediately while we fought the others. And then I suppose that's where we left off. After we killed the final giant, and that dragon looked at us and scared me.
I mean,
That should be the end.
it scared you a little bit before that. It ordered you to start working for it, and you were just like, "Yes, sir. Yes."
I don't know what you mean. I think it requested very nicely, and I agreed with it.
Well, I don't know, guys. Do you think James deserves inspiration?
You
I
got
don't
the
think
gist
we
of
can
what
set
happened
a.
last time.
I don't think we can set a precedent where we don't hand out inspiration.
That's true.
Yeah,
But also,
we can't afford it.
he didn't exactly do his job very well. I I'm not sure if I want to reward somebody doing that. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of the inspiration recap. Um,
Hey, I tried.
I think in the future, um, if you get so many details wrong, um, it's you're not gonna get inspiration. But for now, um, I'll give him some pity inspiration because he sort of got the sequence of events correct. Um, so moving forward, please make sure that you are like accurate, because it doesn't help anybody if you're not accurate. um, but yeah, so when last we left off, you guys had basically gotten into this three-way battle. There was a giant and this massive white dragon locked in conflict. When you guys entered the scene, the giant sicked its wolf on you. And there was an intense battle where basically you were caught in the crossfire between this giant and this dragon attacking, getting hit by the outskirts of the dragon's breath weapon, or chunks of boulders that the giant had flung at the dragon falling atop you. Um, and we pick up again. You guys are in the same clearing. Um, the sky is clear, and you are all just sort of like sat there, weapons still kind of like drawn from the battle, like stiff as boards, unsure what to do, as in front of you on the ground, sort of um, three legs on the ground and one of its like front limbs like grasped around the frozen remains of this giant, with half of the left half of its torso kind of like ripped clean off, is this massive white dragon, on top of which is this palanquin, this like golden palanquin. um, it appears to be like strapped around the dragon's like chest. um, and riding on that palanquin, you can see this sort of like robed humanoid figure, although their like black tattered robes kind of hide their appearance, so you can't quite like make out who they are, but they are wielding this sort of like gnarled black staff tipped with this kind of like frosted blue gem. um,
Um, question: What was that? What's a pav? The thing that's around it.
Palanquin? It's
Palanquin.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like a platform that
Okay.
is specifically for like riding, like an elevated platform. It's not like a saddle. It's basically just like a
Okay. Gotcha.
um yeah, so this dragon's kind of like turning to each of you. I think the last thing it said was like you're pretty good for mortals or something like that. Um
Yep.
Yeah,
and
that's when I posted the Oslo image.
And so yeah, it's like one arm grasped around this giant. You can see its like mouth is open in this like almost like kind of like grin like expression. Its huge teeth. Its teeth probably look like at least the size of your entire upper body, if not larger. Um, and you can just see like frost kind of billowing off the back of its mouth. Um, as it's like turning to like look over all of you. Um, and kind of like try to like judge the situation. Um,
Quick, look non-threatening.
I imagine I'm still just like in the trees like I was before when I was running around this entire clearing.
and yeah, so the dragon kind of like um, lets go of the giant, which kind of topples to the ground, still like flash frozen.
Mm-hmm.
And then like begins to turn and lumbers over towards whoever was closest, which I think was Alquil at this point in time, kind of like lumbering a bit closer and like lowering its head down, and tilting it ever so slightly so you can like see it's like one massive eye, probably at least the size of your head, if and uh, it's just sort of like looks at you curiously, and then kind of like lifts back and says, So, what is it that brings you to these lands?
Like right now, I point towards the giant with like my sword. It's like we were chasing that creature. Says, in general, I live here.
Chasing the Isjotun. Such small creatures. Is it
Yeah.
bravery or foolishness?
Well, they attacked they attacked our home, or yes, they attacked our home. We killed 4 of them already, and we were trying to find out where they were going.
So, even here, the Isjotun are pesky insects.
Yes.
I see. Then perhaps you can assist me.
Depends on what it is that you need help with.
These Jotun, they do not know their place. They trespass upon the realm of Arveatires. They attack ships under my ward, my protection. And they do so flying in the face of my, well, imperiousness. This cannot stand. There was another with this one. I would chase it, but I grow tired and hungry. Kill it. Perhaps I won't kill all of you.
I say that like, well, our objectives align in that case. I know there was a second giant. We were chasing that one as well. So certainly, we'll go after that one as well. I sort of smile.
Yeah, and you can see the dragon is kind of like crouched down, like real low. And you can see now, like looking up on its back. The figure on the back hasn't like said anything. But you can see the wind kind of like blows, and the hood kind of like billows backwards, and you just look into the blank face of this like white skull, staring back at you, from beneath the mask. Um, and the dragon then sort of like turns its head towards you, Alexei. Um, Kind of like lumbers closer, every footstep like shaking the ground, as if like a small earthquake is like going off. And the dragon kind of like gets real low and like uncomfortably close to you. You can like smell kind of its breath, and like feel this like cold air, um, like washing over you. Um, and yeah, the dragon sort of like looks at you for a moment and is just like, my master thanks you for your assistance in putting that giant in its place, giving it a taste of its own medicine. James?
James?
What the fuck?
I'm back with some
James?
cereal. What I missed.
God fucking damn it.
What
The
the
dragon
hell, James?
write BRB if you're going BRB.
Yeah.
I usually do. Did I not do it this time?
No, you
No,
didn't.
you didn't. And the dragon turned and walked up to you and started talking to you, and we were just like, ...
Yeah, so um the dragon turned towards you, Alexei, after talking with Outquill for a bit, lumbering up towards you, getting its sort of like face uncomfortably close to yours to the point where you could like smell its breath and just feel like this cold air washing over you every single time it exhaled. Um, uh, and it says, it's like said in this sort of deep grumbling voice, says, "My master thanks you for your assistance, wizard, for allowing us to give the giant a taste of its own medicine."
Alexei shaking. No, 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 no problem.
The dragon kind of like turns so its like eye is just like in your face, and it just sort of says, "What's the matter? Are you scared?"
No.
The dragon just sort of says, "Well, you're a bad liar." It says, "You've no reason to fear me for now. Unless, of course, you're planning something." Dragon kind of like looks around at all of you. It like turns its head towards you, Lucas. It says, "Don't think I haven't noticed you. Lurking over there. Don't think I couldn't smell you."
I guess at this point I'll step out.
Man, that's gross.
Probably.
Does Lucas not shower?
Was that? Oh. No, I'll step out from like the other side of this clearing, probably with my bow still drawn.
And he says, the dragon sort
Or
of like turns and kind of looks and says, "I was wondering where that smell was coming from when I was in the battle with that Jotun. I thought I noticed a curious scent emerge on the battle, the scent of another dragon. To think it would come from one so small. Who do you work for?" Lucas.
I don't know. I'm thinking.
I don't think Lucas has ever told us he works for a dragon,
No,
does he?
no. I work for Lady Arvea.
I said, "Lady Arvea. That is not one of the dragons I am familiar with. Another name, perhaps? Is it Clauglemater? You've the smell of a green dragon upon you."
Kind of like wrinkle my face at it, like never heard of them. I'm assuming I never heard of them.
I mean, you've probably like heard of like all of the like big major dragons around, but you probably don't know anything about.
Okay.
And so yeah, the dragon kind of like tries to like read you for a moment, and when it's clear you're obviously not like lying, kind of like moves back a bit, and it just says, "Well, it matters not who you work for. Just know your place." You can see the dragon unfolds its like massive wings, and it's like clearly getting ready to take off. You see it once again turns and like grips what's left of the giant's like frozen corpse in one of its talons, like lifting it up, and you can see it sort of like looks it over and then just like takes this massive bite out of its like frozen leg, snapping it clean off, and you just hear this like sickening crunch echo through the clearing as it like chews on this leg and swallows it. And it says,
Eating the dragon.
"What?"
I'm just like, why is he eating the dragon?
No, he's
The
eating a
giant.
giant
Oh yeah, why is he eating the dragon? That's
because
what I meant.
because she was
That's what I
hungry.
meant. Oh,
She
God.
you weren't here for that because you're probably BRB. But when she told me that she's ordered us to go chase the other giant because she wants it dead, and but she's tired and hungry, so she can't bother doing it herself.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
So
and then you feel this just like massive wind pressure like blow all of you backwards as the dragon begins to like take off. And like sort of starts raising itself up slowly. And then it turns and begins to like fly away. And as it does, you could see this sort of like strange kind of glow emanating from its back, as it like takes off with like incredible speed, somewhere off towards the like northwest. And now now the four of you are alone.
Yeah, as the dragon like takes off, I just like basically like letting all the like tension in my body just like evaporate as I like just let out like a deep breath and just okay, and I sheath my sword.
Lexi's legs stop shaking and she falls.
Yeah, and I look around. It's like everyone okay?
Yes.
Good, excellent.
I'll walk back from the other side of the clearing.
Yeah, and I see. Ah, yes, there's Brad.
Hey.
Yeah. Says like right. We should probably take take rest somewhere. I'll also look for the other giant tracks. Figure out where it is. Yes, yes, you can see. It's the great.
It's the greatest wallpaper ever known. What are you talking
Let
about?
me.
Yeah, fill the frame.
Oh
with that. Fill
no!
the frame. In case you're curious, Thor has just like the most like I don't even know what that is, like 1980s Soviet block wallpaper that has ever existed in his room.
I love it.
Next week we're gonna try to have the actual like cameras on the stream. I just couldn't set it up this week, but next week we're gonna try.
Yeah.
But for now, back to the game. Alquill, you are suggesting you find some place to rest. It's this encounter. It is getting kind of late. You've been tracking this giant for like most of the day.
Yeah, we should probably find a place to like set up camp then. I believe I do have a tent. I should have a tent. Yes, I have a tent.
I have a tent too. We're tent bros.
Tent Bros.
Yes. So you have we should like set up a tent. There was like a woods here, so we could probably like get some maybe like a little bit of a campfire started, so we can just keep warm. If we just find a place to like set up camp.
We are in a clearing.
Yeah, we're in a clearing, so we just like I don't have an axe, but
There's one lying on the ground not too far away.
yeah, but that's one kind of large.
Don't worry, I say, and then I form an axe with my pact bond.
Thank you. I didn't want to like say anything.
It's a very fancy looking axe.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you've described this axe to us before ever.
Because I've never had an axe.
Yes. We have the fancy description for all your other packed weapons.
Well,
But yes.
you remember when that guy dropped his normal axe in the pond, and then this lady came up and was like, "Here's a silver axe and a gold axe. Which one's yours?" His is both of those combined.
All right. I'm like as I said. So like it says, excellent, Lucas. Can you? I leave wood shopping to you. I'll go look and just see if I can find the other giant tracks. Just so I know where, like the direction it went, and then I'll come join you, helping setting up camp.
I'll go cut wood.
All right. So Lucas goes off to collect some firewood. Most of the trees like around here are like still pretty heavily like frozen. Although they're pretty like tough kind of coniferous trees. So you're able to like salvage up some wood that you can use to start a fire. Um, some like pine needles to use as kindling, and um, yeah, Alexei and Alquil go about setting up the tents. An important feature here in the Dales, should a terrible windstorm or snowstorm blow through, you would not want to be sleeping outside. That is for sure. Um,
Yeah.
so you get the tents all set up and sort of begin uh, the process of a long rest, I presume.
Yes. But do I see where the other trial? So I ask, do I see where the other giant tracks were? Like where the direction?
Yeah, definitely. You see another set of tracks that leads out. It takes a while just because of the fact like there was a dragon walking around here and you were fighting
Yeah.
this giant. But eventually you see on the outskirts of the clearing another set of tracks that seems to lead off to like the east,
Yeah.
slightly north, kind of like east by northeast. Um,
Yeah.
um, and it's like quite clear like this was the tracks of a second giant that was there, and then like they split off obviously, for whatever reason. Maybe it's because this big fuck off dragon was coming, and I don't know.
One of them was just
one
like,
of them
"I
needed
will
his
fight this thing," and the other was
GTFO.
like, "No, you fucking idiot!"
Or maybe one of them was protecting something super important, and the other one was like, "Go, I will sacrifice myself." Let's be real, they're giants; they wouldn't do
No.
that.
um. So yes, we're gonna then start the process of a long rest.
Okay. So, uh, who is going to be taking up the first watch then?
Yeah. I would suggest that like the first watch and the last watch should be taken by the two humans, like one of the two humans each, and the two middle watches should be taken by the two people who. Fuck, he's a halfling. He doesn't have dark vision. Damn it. Sorry. Never mind. Never mind.
I'm the
But
only one with dark vision.
you're the only one with dark vision, and therefore you are the one who's gonna have the watch dead at night. Sorry. That's just the way it's gonna have to be.
This is some racism.
Yeah, I was about to say
Wow.
that's pretty racist. For
I mean, he's the only one who can see that well in darkness. That is the whole point. Like we can't, so it's easier for him.
That's
That
just,
is,
Then just make
that
a
doesn't
fire.
make it okay for.
I don't care if it's not okay. That is, it's the most tactical sound decision.
All right. So, in that case,
Um,
sounds like Alquil is going to be going first, or does Alexei want to go first?
I'll do it. Alexei will do it.
All right,
All right.
Alexei, go ahead and roll me a d20 and add your perception modifier, and then
So a
also roll
perception
me
check.
a d12.
Wait, so a d20 plus my perception modifier plus a d12?
No, the d12 is separate. Don't add the d12.
The perception check is just a perception check.
The perception
Okay.
check's a perception check.
He just said it weirdly and just didn't say perception check.
yeah. And then you roll a d12.
Okay. So let's say your watch is like a couple of hours or whatever. You're keeping watch over the camp, sort of conjuring some light with like small flame in your hand or whatever. And probably like reading a book or something like that, keeping an eye out every so often, like flipping a page and taking a look around. Nothing really seems to approach your encampment. It seems like perhaps maybe the presence of a giant fuck off dragon has scared off anything in the vicinity. Or perhaps not.
Do that.
However, you do notice, Alexei, that partway through your watch, the winds begin to like pick up in speed, um, and like you could feel like the temperature getting dropping. Um, it's actually not until like pretty late into your watch that the sun actually like sets. We're kind of like in the part of the year where it's like daytime for quite a long period of time. Uh, so as you're like nearing the end of your watch, the sun is actually just now setting, um, and you can kind of begin to see like in the distance these sort of dark black storm clouds that are quite clearly kind of like looming closer and approaching your position. And this is about the time when you go and wake up, I assume, Alquil for his watch. And then I will ask the same of Alquil, a perception check and a d12 roll. Very well.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Okay. So, Alquil, as you wake up, the first thing you can feel is just the like biting cold as you sort of exit from the relative warmth of the tent. Although it is a feeling that you are quite used to, it doesn't really shake you at all. But you can like quite clearly see as you emerge. Definitely these signs of one of the big sort of storms that will blow through, like cold front basically, that will blow through every so often during the summer months. For the most part in the Dales during the summer it's not as bad as the rest of the year. It actually kind of tends to be a little bit warmer, but every so often this cold front will come in and basically like this huge storm will like dump a bunch of snow everywhere, and basically just generally like kind of like fuck things up. Um, and it's like quite evident to you that some like massive blizzard or something is coming your way, um, and it's probably going to be upon you by the morning. Um, and you would just know this basically based on your like living here and like your skill in survival, and navigating the wilds, etc. Um, and but the actual like portion of your watch, like again, like nothing is really it's actually kind of strange. You would expect, being in a forest, you would probably see like some elk passing by, or you would probably see like snow hares or something, but there's just like this lack of anything around you, and it's actually very unsettling and discomforting for you, being somebody who has like lived in and among like the nature here, to see everything just so quiet and vacant, is like disconcerting in its own way. Um, and your watch is kind of like, you have a lot of like apprehension. There's a lot of like tension essentially, um, due to the absence of anything rather than like anything that you actually see during your watch. But it comes to a close eventually, and you go and I assume wake up your final watchee.
Yes, I'm gonna wake up Lucas, and as I wake Lucas up, I'm gonna tell him like there's a storm coming. Blizzard. It probably be upon us in the morning. Also, everything is quiet, and that's not natural. So keep your guard up.
Kind of nod.
And I'll wish him good luck. Go ahead on Windstrom, protect you, friend. And then
Oh, cool. Returns to the tent and settles down. Um, presumably, uh, yeah. So, Lucas, why don't you go ahead, give me the same thing as everybody else? Perception check and a d12 roll.
1, 1, 1.
I
No,
don't have
D12.
20, my bad.
D12.
Whose side are you on for?
Okay. So,
The side of sack.
Lucas,
Side of
you're
sack on.
you're sort of sitting there. It's cold. This place fucking sucks. Why are you here again? Like, just
I don't know why I'm here. They
just
won't
just
tell me.
just awful.
Everyone tell you.
Maybe it's time to seek gainful employment.
get
Why
that. You don't even get dental. You know.
Why don't you get a full-time job already?
Yeah,
like, for
yeah,
fuck's
it's just-
sake?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I already got these like cool gemstones. I paw at them, just turn them over
Are
in my
the-
hand. I was like, I wonder how much I'm gonna get for you guys.
are the benefits really worth it? You know, yeah, you have to
Yes,
consider
they
that.
are.
You know, no vacation days.
Hey, as long as that end outcome is what was promised, then it's worth it.
So,
Alright.
your watch, however, passes rather
Goes uneventful.
uneventfully. if cold and annoying and bitter. And you notice, like, again, like the winds are picking up. You can feel, like, you can see like snow beginning to like fall as like the outskirts of the storm is like hitting your encampment. Um, Obviously, there's still like a little bit more to go until the night is over. However, it is quite clear that the storm is upon you. And it is only a matter of time until you are caught in the thick of it. So you go and wake up. I think you like Nibelung. I'm just gonna. Nothing happens. The rest of the night concludes, and you all successfully finish your long rest.
Woohoo! First long rest of the game, boys. Oh, the button doesn't work.
It's gonna be the last one of the game as well.
The last one
Wow,
ever.
that is it. Or maybe did the button work? Yeah, the button worked. You just didn't tell me that it worked. Ah, they've changed that.
Button.
Yes.
Yeah.
Long rest.
Okay. Cool. So switch up some spells, I guess.
Oh yes, good point. Thank you.
I always like say
Yes,
smart
if,
things.
if
None of you guys
anybody
believe.
wants to exchange spells, feel free to do so. So you guys
I'm getting
wake
rid of
in the
that.
morning, emerging from your tents into what can only be described as just this
Oh, Winter
absolute
Wonderland.
blizzard. There is whipping winds, probably gusting anywhere between like 50 and 60 miles an hour, blowing snow in your faces, kind of pelting you with chunks of ice. Um, it obviously, like, everybody is like kind of like freezing immediately, uh, and visibility especially is just hampered incredibly. Alquil, you would know that basically, like, in conditions like these, traveling is going to be difficult, obviously, for hardier folks such as yourself, adventurers. It's not impossible.
Mhm.
And like tracking a creature, also probably going to be like pretty difficult, especially the longer you wait.
Yeah.
So time is kind of the essence. You basically have like enough time in the morning to like put on your armor, like get prepared. You might even have to eat like a traveling breakfast.
Yeah. Like, do we get the tent down, or do you have to, or do we not? We don't have the time.
Well, let's see here. Why don't you make me a survival check and see how fast you can get the tents down?
All right. 13.
13. I'll say that that is good enough for an adventurer's standards to like quickly pack down the tents and not lose too much time.
All right. And yeah, I'll tell everyone to, first of all, I'll get a rope out and just be like, tie this around each other so we're all tied together. Because once the blizzard comes in for full, it's going to be hard for visibility, I imagine.
Sure thing.
And we don't want to lose each other. And we have to go because the tracks are going to be gone soon, so we have to track him. Snap, snap.
Hockey will also be taking cover inside my coat.
Ah, yes.
Yes, Alexei just walking around with this big hawk in her coat. Of course.
He's a
I
small
assume
baby hawk.
by coat you mean, the parallel dimension where you can send it.
He's a baby hawk.
A baby hawk. Mhm.
I only got the spell recently. He still has to grow.
That's not how magic works. You know what?
Maybe not in
Actually,
your reality.
maybe in Alexei's world that is how it works because she's just so like weird and naive that
Yeah.
she conjured forth some baby hawk.
Yep. Right. Yeah, but we're gonna go.
Okay.
No.
So, why don't you, Alquil, as your other tracker is not here at the moment, and I would say I haven't finished like making. I was gonna make like the cards or whatever for people who aren't here. I haven't finished making it, but I'm sure one of them is basically like you have advantage on survival checks to track foes. Or something of those lines. So you can make a survival check at advantage to start trying to find and track this giant.
Woo! That is almost not 20.
So, relatively quickly, you are able to pick up the trail and start leading off after the giant. Um, you like kind of worm your way through the woods. The forest actually helps a lot because it breaks a lot of the like wind and the snow that's blasting against you. So um uh it's not too tough as of yet. However, as soon as you like break the forest, you get hit by like the full like impact of this massive storm that you have found yourselves in. Um, you are basically like having to like push, like hold up and like push against like beating snow, um, and like already you can tell like the snow is beginning to pile up on the ground. Maybe like only a few inches now, but at the rate it's going, it's probably going to be like keep rising and rising until the point where you're like basically like trudging through it like super slowly. Um, uh, but yes, so you make your way following after this trail quickly and as best you can. Um, and why don't can I get a perception check from each of you?
Everyone, eh? All right.
Yep.
At just normal, no disadvantage.
Disadvantage
Okay.
Ooh.
due to the storm conditions and
You have to
lack
re-roll
of,
it, James.
lack of
Disadvantage.
visibility.
Oh, God's sake.
Yes.
No.
All right, so let's see here.
2.
It's a good roll. 2, 11, and a 7. Interesting. Right. Okay, so um, all of you are taken a bit unawares at this point. Um,
Craig cat.
uh, um, as you like suddenly hear this kind of uh, deep bellowing roar coming from like behind you somewhere. Um, and let me see here. There's 3 of you. I suppose I'll just roll and randomly see who gets.
Who gets attacked by this winter nightmare? The daddy Wendigo.
That's weird. What the hell is
And
that?
it's
Or the
Alexei.
daddy Yeti.
So,
Stop adding daddy to everything.
uh,
Dara,
Alexei.
Klasen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I accidentally clicked literally a random NPC from my list when you like do the drop down.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's nobody important. So Alexei, you turn, like you hear this roar and turn, and from out of the like the snow and the storm, you just see this like bundle of ropes and iron flying through the air towards you. Um, uh,
Doc.
and it is going to be making an attack against you with advantage. Undo the
Fucking
spec.
fuck this guy.
All
Who?
right.
Who is it for?
I'm guessing Lormont.
Who?
Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Oh
know.
man.
Could be the giant. I had one throw me I don't know how big. He didn't say it was huge, so.
Damn, roll 20. Always not responding. Why do you got to do this?
I don't know why. Why is your game so laggy?
I don't know, man.
Should I
It's
call in,
usually not
guys?
too bad for me, but every so often, like the server will, basically.
Yeah, yeah. But the weird thing is just like it just happens in this game, at least of the games I've been running and playing. Like it just has happened in this game a lot recent, or like recent, but since.
Because it's Brad's fault.
Yeah, it's my fault, obviously.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
your fault
obviously,
personally.
no,
I'm personally responsible.
I don't know what fucks it up.
I imagine it's probably some
24,
API
Alexei.
stuff
Does
or
a
whatever.
24 hit you?
Oh, I don't know, Brad. Yes.
Shield.
You can't use reactions because she's surprised. So,
All right.
Alexei is all of a sudden just like knocked backwards and just entangled in this like massive fucking net. Um, and you all hear this sort of like kind of like roar, and you can just see this like large shadowy figure kind of on the outskirts
Okay.
of your vision in the snow. And we're gonna go ahead and roll some initiative here, and I will move you
Uh,
over to the battle.
What if I don't want to roll initiative?
just wait
Then you die.
until removed. So
So am
Kane.
I like restrained then, essentially?
Yes. So in the net, you are knocked prone and you are restrained
Oh great. Lucas, it's happening again.
until you can escape from the net.
Sorry, what's happening again?
she's prone and restrained. I said it's happening again.
Woo! My first good initiative roll.
Yay! The Giants. Suck it.
And you said it'd be Boba Fett.
Yeah, because of like nets and stuff. I was like, fuck. I was like thinking.
Net? Boba
Don't
Fett.
net shame Boba Fett.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He always used those fucking devices against us.
Yeah, so this you can like see the shadowy figure, and you can hear this like deep booming voice that sort of says like, "So these are the worms that were chasing after me."
Wow, he noticed. Or she, I don't know. I can't see.
Sounded like
so
key voice.
Lucas.
Remember we're tied by rope right now.
So right now, you are tied by rope. I'll let you decide. Like what, 10, 15 feet probably of slack between each of you.
Yeah, I divide, if I took a 50 feet rope and divided by 3, it was about like 16, 17 feet.
Yeah,
so
so
like, let's say 15 feet.
Let's say 15 feet. So basically, like, whoever you were tied to, I would assume like you were probably tied to Alquill. You can only get up to 15 feet away from him, and it is like a pounding storm right now. Heavy winds. Any ranged attacks are going to be made with disadvantage.
Any ranged attacks are made with disadvantage?
Just due to like how like forceful these winds are. They're gonna get blown off course.
Is Nibelung actually in this initiative, or is that just an error?
That's an error. He shouldn't be there.
Yeah, he's
Get out of
down
here.
in the
Never
bottom right.
adding Nib-
He's in the bottom right corner. His
Get out of
token,
here.
which is
You're not here. He's deleted. So, Lucas, you do not have a clear like sight of your enemy. Like you know they're there, you know like their vague positioning, but you can't actually like see them.
No, I got you.
And it is your move. What do you wish to do?
Oh, how is this?
Watch.
Probably really shouldn't be grouped together.
Actually, there's a net icon, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Hold on. I gotta grab my warlock book.
Your warlock book.
Yeah.
Hex
Player's
it.
handbook. Don't tell me what to fucking do.
Just keep in mind, any spell that requires you to be able to see your enemy will not function as it is currently because you cannot see him properly.
I love how annoyed you got there, Zach. Tell me what to fucking do.
He is heavily obscured by the storm.
Wow, which means I can't fucking hex it.
Yeah, 4. Zach knows what he's doing. Okay. I think. Right, Zach?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to use my action to summon my. It's a action to bring out a shield, right?
It would be an action to don a shield, yes.
Fuck.
You have to don a shield?
Yep.
Yeah. I'll use my action to summon. We'll go fucking melee with it. Now, I'll summon. I'll summon a weapon. That is my packed greatsword. And that's my action. And I will use whatever. I can't use like an item interaction to cut some of this rope, can I? Or what is that?
Let's say you could probably like just quickly slice the rope with your sword.
All right. Can I like slice the like part around my waist. That way, like, it's still kind of connected.
That's
if possible.
that's like a little bit more than you could like do quickly. Like if you want to just like quickly slice the rope, you're basically like swing for the middle of it and cut it in half.
All right, I'll do it.
Anything else would require more finesse and an action to do.
I do it.
Okay, so you just slice the rope in half between you and
And then
whoever you were connected to.
I'm gonna just kind of hold on. I forgot that we have this battle map. Is this how we were like roped together?
I mean, you can arrange yourselves however you were like roped together
Yeah,
around
let's,
there.
how were we roped together, guys?
Well, I was in front, so I
was
would be.
behind. So
Okay, so it would be like it goes. I'm roped.
So-
I was attached to Lucas. Lucas is attached to Alexei. So would that be it, or would it be like should we have
Well,
Alexei in the middle?
You were up front, so you would actually be the furthest away from the giant because he is coming from like behind you.
Oh, he's going from behind. Right, I see. My bad.
So I'm assuming Alexei was in behind then.
Yes. Okay, so you would be in the middle then. So you're attached to both of us.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I suppose you could slice like the connection between one of you. In that case, and you would still be connected to the other person.
I'll cut Alquill free.
Okay. Slice the connection between you and Alquill, leaving you and Alexei still sort of tied together. Alexei is currently just like on the ground, like struggling against this like heavily weighted rope. But that is your action. So, Alexei.
Do I got movement action?
Oh,
I can't. Not unless wait.
I mean, you can
I
move, but you
probably
can
have
only
enough
move.
dragging speed to move Alexei.
You can only move up to 15 feet away from where Alexei is, and due to her weight and the weight of the net, you won't be able to like drag her while you're moving, unless you want to like grab her and like start physically like dragging her.
The storm is just obscuring. It's not making it difficult terrain, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
I mean, I'll drag Alexei with me. Can I drag her 15 feet away?
No, you can move up to 50 feet away from her, but as he said, the weight of like Alexei and the net on top of her is so heavy that you can't move her with you. You can't drag her along after you. That's what he said.
Yeah, this isn't like a normal net. This is a net that has a whole bunch of like iron weights kind of woven into it. And it's like incredibly freaking heavy.
I moved my 15 feet away. You're good.
Okay. So Alexei, you are prone on the ground, trapped under this like incredibly heavy net. You can almost feel it like kind of like crushing. One of the weights like landed on your stomach and it's just like crushing down on it, making it difficult to breathe. And it's just a fun situation. You can't see anything. There's just like a storm around you.
What is the check to get out of this then?
So it would be a strength check, just a flat strength check to try to escape from the net.
A flat strength check, eh?
Yep.
Okay.
Show us those bulgy muscles. Show us your
What?
pecs.
Oh!
Oh wow. Alexei, you through whether it's just like pure luck, coincidence, or serendipitous chance, the way that the net landed on you left enough of like an escape path that you could sort
Enough
of like
wiggle room.
wiggle your way out and pull the like weights off of you. You're still prone, but you have successfully kind of like escaped from underneath this like huge net, essentially.
Fuck yeah! Is that my action, or can I still do other stuff?
That was an action, yes.
Right. Okay. So I can still move at least. So.
You cannot move that direction though. You have to be within 15 feet of Lucas because you're tied together.
You're tied together, remember?
All right.
So you have to be like.
Like, let's see. I can move up here, man. Sweet.
Yep. Sure thing. All right, Alquill.
All right. Yep. I'm first just gonna quickly check which is there anyone I can just show it. Oh, that's a bonus action. Cool. Oh, do I want to use that? Do I want to use that? No, I don't want to use that.
I think I have some.
That's yes. So I am going to dash my way up here to the giant now that I'm free.
Very well.
And
Dash your way through the storm towards this mysteriously like shrouded figure, and indeed you can see a sort of emerging out from the heavy snow, this like massive form of this blue-skinned frost giant.
yes. And I will. I mean, it has been helpful in the past.
The giant?
Shield of Faith, classic.
Gravenstone, protect me. And that's my turn.
All right, so the giant kind of looks down towards you, Alquil, like smirking as it like lifts its axe above its head, and it says, "What's this? You're coming closer." Um,
I can't beat the shit out of you if you don't step closer.
well, come as close as you like, and then bam, tries to smash its axe down on top of you. 21.
Get fucked. Get fucked.
That Shield of Faith coming in handy.
Yes.
And then the second swing, a 23 will hit you for 23 points of damage.
Yes.
And that will be a DC 11 con save. And there goes the Shield of Faith as quickly as it came.
Every time.
Goel Winstro is like, my job here is done.
You didn't do anything.
All right, Lucas.
Oh man. All right. So I can't even see him right now, right?
No, you'd have to get a bit closer. Basically, like,
Okay.
you can't see anything within, unless it's within like 30 feet of you.
Okay.
And even still, at that distance, ranged attacks have disadvantage.
Even at that distance?
Mhm.
What distance would they not have disadvantage?
Nowhere, because you would have to be right next to them, and then they'd have disadvantage because you're right next to them. Turns out fighting in a storm sucks.
Mm-hmm. And like anything up there on his shins is gonna like just.
So I assume you like slice the rope between you and Alexei.
Yeah. Sorry. I have disadvantage no matter what.
Now we're separated.
And if I attack at his ankles, it's basically going to do half damage.
Yep. I'm still working on the specifics, but basically, like, giants will essentially have like 5 like zones that you can attack, and certain giants will have like more heavily areas, and basically like ranged attacks will hit them at random unless you like specifically target areas, and like obviously melee attacks will hit wherever they're at. It'll be a fun little system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so this is something that you follow.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not a normal thing for giant.
I don't want to like hit this guy at like half fucking damage on his fucking ankles because he's fucking calloused, and I can't fucking attack this turn anyway.
Climb on
so yeah, fucking sure, let's do that.
Why
No,
not
I'm
follow him? Yeah. Why
just
the
gonna say fuck it and just summon my bow again.
All right.
Classic Lucas.
Classic Lucas. Like, you know what? Never mind. Throw out the greatsword, summon the bow.
Why do you do these things to me, Zach?
Alexei.
Hey, I couldn't attack at this turn anyways.
You can like vaguely see the forms of like your companions and this like massive towering figure in the distance, but basically like you can't see anybody from your current location.
Alright. Well, it's fine because I completely forgot to do this. So that's my turn.
This is how we deal.
This is how it goes. Alquil. Kind of pushed down into the snow from this like axe. Basically, like you have this axe like kind of like you blocked some of it with your shield, but it went over your shield and it's kind of like lodged in your shoulder right now. You're a bit like pushed down to one knee.
Man, it's
Actually,
good
no. Actually, I'm going to 15, 20 here.
It's good to be the Crystal Crusaders again.
You
How
shove
could
the axe aside. It slams into the ground, and then you circle around the giant.
Yep. Bonus action. Thunderous Smite.
Thunderous Smite.
And action, Booming Blade.
Booming Blade.
And take this Sizzling Sword. 20 to hit.
20 does in fact hit.
And he has to make a DC 15 strength save.
4 slashing damage. And 7 thunder damage. And he has to make a strength save, you said?
He takes 8 thunder damage from the Thunderous Smite.
damage.
Yes. Not,
Oh, yes, from the thunder. Yes, the smite.
Yes, and then it's the strength saving throw. If he fails, he gets pushed back, and then he will take the 7 booming blade damage.
Alright, strength saving throw. Oh,
Yes! And he's pushed.
So there's just this like loud boom, and the giant kind of goes like sliding backwards from the force of this spell.
Yeah, 10 feet backwards there. Coming for you, Lucas.
Pushing
Oh,
it closer,
God.
closer to Lucas.
And I'm going up here.
However, it was pushed and did not move, so unfortunately, no extra booming damage.
What?
Well, because the booming set like is if you move. Being pushed is not moving. Moving is anything that would spend your movement. Basically.
But it worked before.
Well, if it worked before, then I was wrong, because that's...
Sad face. Oh well.
Alright, so the Frost Giant. Not very happy about that, Elquil. Not very happy at all.
you upset him? Do you feel bad?
Nobody pushes around a giant, least of all a little worm like you. So he's gonna lift his axe and he's gonna swing it at you.
Oh no.
Nope, that will
Miss.
miss.
That is an
What a
oh no
chump.
moment for.
Oh, that's it.
That will hit you.
And I'm done.
Splat. All right, Lucas. You see Algo just take an axe to the shoulder and just crumples to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Am I within, like, hitting range of this thing? Yes, I'm within 10 feet of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Thanks to it being pushed closer to you.
Yeah.
What is this? Nice
What
one.
is this?
Did you just make that?
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast a spell.
Ooh, a spell.
I'm gonna cast Blink.
Blink. That makes you blink. You blink.
Yes, I blink at the,
You blink at the giant.
yeah. And then... if I move... he is, like, what, 35 feet? I mean, he's gonna hit me no matter what I do, even if I move. So...
yeah, I mean he's got longer strides than you do.
yeah, he's got a longer stride, so... I'm gonna roll my d20 and see if I blink. Oops. Oops.
That wasn't a d20.
The fuck are you playing at, Zach?
I don't blink.
Nope. Still there, so you cast your spell and you're just like, ha! Oh shit!
Mm-hmm. So this is where we wipe, guys.
Don't worry, I did say I have made my backup already.
All right. So
Alexei.
Alexei.
Huh. Um. How far away is Lucas? 45 feet. Can I see him? But I
No,
mean,
you have to get
closer.
within 30 feet to see somebody in these conditions.
All right, cool. So let's see, giant. Has the giant taken any damage yet?
No.
Taking a little.
Oh wait, yeah, it has.
Yeah, it took some thunderous smite damage.
All right. Here you go, Lucas. I've not used the spell yet, I don't think.
Haste. Lucas, you feel a rush of adrenaline enter into your system as time around you seems to slow. And then you go fast.
Woo.
All right, Alquil.
Gotta go faster, faster.
You should be
faster,
proficient in these by now.
Yeah.
You should home rule it.
All right.
You should give me one of those Colville feats, where it's like you give me a feat because of things I've done in the game, and it's just proficiency in death saves. I call it Die Hard.
Die Hard. All right, so the frost giant. I guess yeah. It's
Has
just
not
gonna...
seen me and thought it finished its fight and walks away.
Oh, he definitely sees you there, buddy. And yeah, he's gonna swing his axe at you, just from where he is.
All right, I'm gonna prepare my
Shield spell.
Shield?
26.
It's impossible for me to shield that.
Yep. Well, what's your
It is 17.
17?
I can only
yeah,
get up to a
so-
22.
Yep, unfortunately. So that one hits you
Plus
for
2
28.
me.
I'm almost down.
And then he swings again
I have 7 HP left.
and misses.
It misses.
All right, Lucas.
Oh, do I want to? Damn it! Fuck. 3 attacks with my packed longbow at disadvantage. I'm gonna just roll another d20. So it misses.
4 plus 9, 10. Yeah, that misses.
Yeah. Damn it! What that? It misses anyways. 13 misses.
Yeah, that misses.
I'm actually gonna hit that disadvantage button now.
Yeah. It still hits.
Takes 12 damage.
12 points of damage. So you shoot an arrow, it like sticks into a part of its unarmored chest.
And then I'm going to bonus action. Bonus. Probably should. I'm gonna bonus action.
I see.
Not hex it. Fuck it. I'm actually going to use my bonus action to cast my pact hex at it.
Alright, so you do your Hexblade's curse or whatever.
Yeah. And then
Very well.
d20. That was just a 20. Why didn't I do it?
Yeah,
Slash
that's
hard
just
20.
to say. Classic.
I'm not
Crap.
disappearing. Well, this is where we wipe, literally. Alexei.
Alright, Alexei.
Not really much I can do, which is very unfortunate. Having to get closer. let's see, how much closer do I need to move? 10 feet. Like here. Alright, now I can see the giant appropriately. Alright. I guess I will just try and fireball it. Yeah, so I'll, you know, aim high so I don't hit Lucas or Alquill. Blammo.
Alright. So you blast off this explosion of fire, sort of starts, emerges in the midst of the storm, against all odds, pushing against the winds and the snow, and just makes this scorching burn in the sky. Giant will make a dex save, and fail. So he is blasted with 38 points of fire damage. Like screaming in pain, like. And then you could see it sort of like, so it's like patting off some of the flames around it, looking around for like where that came from. All right, Alquill.
I just see a smile on Brad's face, and he flicked him off. I think he's dead. Oh my God, Thor, no.
Oh, so the
I love you,
frost
my boy.
giant. Let me see here.
Is that what you were wrapping your fingers for? Because you rolled a nat 1 on your first death save.
I just saw Thor flick off the camera, I think.
All right. So you see the giant like finishes like patting off these flames, and then kind of like looks around and reaches down into the ground, and you can see like prise up this chunk of like broken rock and ice, and then looks at you, Alexei, lifts its arm back and hurls this boulder with such force that it goes sailing towards you.
All right.
Ooh, it's alright, you have the most HP.
That's true.
Yep, that's
So
30
this
damage.
boulder just slams into you, kind of like knocking you backwards, and like definitely like rattling you. Go ahead and make your concentration check, DC 15.
All right. Oh, haste is concentration, is it?
It is.
Yes.
And in fact, it has
yes,
a
is.
very bad thing that happens if you lose concentration.
Yes. So don't fail.
One short.
What's the DC?
DC is 15. Half
No!
of 30.
No. Fucking
So the haste.
inspiration.
You're...
Inspiration. You don't put this.
Alright, I'll use my inspiration.
All right.
For screen.
You're good at con. Fuck you.
Fuck.
So,
I
as
feel
this boulder
slow.
like slams into you, it rattles your skull, and any thought of spells and incantations just like fails as it's blinded by this like momentary like flash of pain. You let loose the bonds of the haste spell, and Lucas, you just sort of like all of a sudden just feel like every muscle in your body aches, and you just begin sort of like dry heaving, and basically like you can't do anything on your turn as this wave of lethargy washes over you. Go ahead and make your blink roll at the end.
If there's ever been a time to have it, it's now.
Yes.
All right, so
Now.
Lucas is just on the ground in pain, retching, and just
You
vanishes.
just see me disappear, Alexa.
Leaving you alone. Well, yeah, alone. Basically, because you don't see me anymore, I guess.
He's covered in snow.
All right, Alexei.
He's buried. Oh no, not Alquill. My turn.
What do you do?
Kill it!
What was that for?
Kill it!
Another fireball. Well, no, I can't. I've already used all my second level spells.
No!
Fireball is a third level.
Third,
Oh,
it's a
well,
third
yeah,
level.
because haste
Yeah,
is a
third
third level
level
spell
spell.
too.
Yeah, okay, run.
Run.
one.
I changed my I changed my mind.
I dash away, Brad.
All right, Frost Giant. Just you hear this shouting behind you. You speak Giant, right, Alexei?
Yeah.
You just hear this shouting like, "Where are you going, little worm? You think you can outrun a Nisjoten?" And you just hear this pounding, thunderous footsteps behind you as the giant dashes 80 feet. And just its foot slams down next to your head, and you just see this like heavily booted giant leg, and you like look up and just see this giant grinning down at you with its axe.
Lucas pops back
So I
into
think
existence.
Lucas pops back into existence.
But he
10
can't
feet
do
away
it.
from my position.
You can't
Yep.
do anything. Haste does.
I'm sorry, what?
No, he
When
last turn.
when haste ends,
Last
the
turn he
next
didn't do
two.
anything.
Yeah, that was
What
last
was it?
turn.
Oh, it was the last turn. My bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I didn't do shit. But I do pop back in existence 10 feet in a direction of an unoccupied space.
All right, so you have to
Because
roll a V8.
Alexei lost concentration on the giant's turn, and Lucas was next.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'm my mix up. Yes. Of course. Carry
I
on.
don't think it's a random place.
Is it? Or is it your
No,
choice?
it's your choice. Unoccupied
Okay.
space of your choice, within 10 feet.
I can't even fucking get into range to shoot the fucking thing. Oh my god.
Alexei's fine. She's fine. Totally fine.
She has missed a step.
I'm gonna check Al Quill. Is he alive?
I mean, it's cold. It's blizzard.
It's cold. It's a blizzard. Make a medicine check.
If to check if I'm alive, you have to do a medicine. Yeah.
I did it at disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
It would have been 18 regardless.
Yeah. So it's faint, but you can still see like frost from his breath in the air.
Can I use that to
Um,
stabilize him? Or was that the only check?
I mean, if you want to spend your like whole action doing it, yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'll stabilize him.
Okay.
Cool.
And then, God, how heavy are you?
I am. My character is.
I just need to know if you drag. Can I fucking drag you?
230 plus 446 pounds lbs.
Fucking drag.
Your push drag
fucking
capacity.
drag you.
It's.
I can't
yeah.
even push and drag you.
Yeah, I imagine because I could barely push and drag me. And I have a +3 strength. No, I have a 16.
Alright, with this, I'm assuming that's your turn
No.
then.
Is it? Are we in the woods or anything?
You're in a clearing.
We're in a clearing.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, wait. This is after. So you are actually like out in the open.
Yeah.
There's some like hills maybe like in the distance, but
I'm
like I
looking for
said, you
hiding
can't.
spots.
You basically like can't really like see anything. So you
I
just
could dig a hole into the
look
ground and
around.
hide in it.
I mean, that would take an awful long time. Meanwhile, Alexei.
It's got fucking movement speed.
Yes. My turn.
Yeah.
So
let's
there's
let
no
him go.
ability to hide, is there?
Are you doing
Not underneath the giant that is standing right atop of you.
But if I like misty step away, is it possible to try and hide?
Yeah. What if you just like missed a step like far away, like behind him, because like you just disappear in a puff of smoke. He won't see where you're going, and then you just run. So like just instead of missing, like you can miss a step
run.
behind you in the direction that he's viewing, but then he probably would see you in the distance or something.
I'm out of existence again.
Poof, gone.
Yeah. So if you for example miss a step over here, I think it's 60 feet. Is it 60 feet or 90 feet? You can miss a step up.
Pretty sure it's just 30 feet actually. Yeah, 30 feet.
All right. Yeah. So definitely, like if you did it like in the direction he's viewing, he's probably gonna see you anyway.
So Misty step 30 feet behind him and then
Fall
dash
prone.
away. And then dash away. And then fall prone.
All right.
The
So
best hiding spot.
you sort of vanish, reappear 30 feet away, somewhere behind the frost giant. He kind of like looks like confused for a bit, just sort of saying like, "Where did she go?"
Yep.
And then you run away.
and drop prone.
And then drop prone, yeah.
Go
Roar
ahead
just like,
and give me a stealth check.
I believe in you.
Did I get any sort of advantage because of the storm or anything?
You wouldn't have advantage,
No,
but he would have
but
disadvantage.
he had disadvantage.
Fucking
No.
hell! What is with these ones today?
So you're like running through the heavy snow, and you like stub your toe on a rock that was kind of like
Oh,
obscured by the snow, and just like you let out this like gasp of pain. You quickly like try to grab your mouth to hold it, but you can see the giant like turns and like looks your way, and it says, "There you are, little worm." And then you drop to the ground prone still, or
No, no. Do not do that now.
All right, so then it's his turn. Let's see here. How far away are you? 75 feet. So he starts lumbering a bit closer. Reaches down to grab another rock. And then he hucks it at you.
15 doesn't hit. Oh no, 15
It
matches
will.
my AC. Oh fuck.
Shield?
Shield.
All right, so you quickly conjure forth a shield as you just see this like massive rock hurtling towards you. The rock impacts your shield, cracks, spiraling through it. You shift backwards, but the rock breaks into pieces, scattering around you to either side. And you can see the giant kind of like looks a bit disappointed and carries out the rest of its movement. So it moves
Lucas!
15,
Help me!
lumbering towards you. Lucas is nowhere to be seen. He seems to have fled the scene and fucked off. Oh wait, there he is.
10 feet in a direction.
Yeah.
Take a 5-step footstep forward. I can now see it. Disadvantage on my shots. Miss. Hit. So it takes 11. 13. 14.
11 plus your proficiency, right?
Yeah, 14. And then I'm going to use my bonus action to maddening hex it, so it's a total of 19 damage.
Cool thing. All right,
And
Alexei.
then it's like, hey, and then I'll shout at it in, I don't know. I'll just
Roll
shout
your
at it
roll your
on it.
blink.
Hold on, I'm going to run away my last 25 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just yell at it in languages, in Draconic.
In languages.
Poof.
Boof.
Ooh, I'm back.
So you're like halfway through yelling it, and suddenly you're just like gone. And then it's Alexei.
Big damn.
I mean, I want to get our quill back up. Okay,
You have.
healing potions. So like, so it's an item interaction to get one out of your inventory, right?
Yeah, it'd be like an item interaction to like pull out a potion if you have it in your bag or whatever.
But it's an action to apply it.
And it would be an action to apply it. Yeah. So that would basically be your free interaction and an action to.
I don't have enough movement to get to our quill in one turn. So I guess
do if
yeah,
you
I'll
Misty
just-
Step.
True. That's yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to do that. So item interaction. Grab my potion out of my backpack or my satchel or whatever. Misty step 30 feet towards Alquill. Then use some of my movement, 15 feet of it precisely, to get up to Alquill. Stick it down his open mouth. And then by the time the potions ran dry, I use my other 15 feet to proceed to continue running away.
You're half buried in snow, Alquill.
Yeah,
I'm
Alquill,
just,
you just like wake up, kind of like buried in maybe like a few inches of snow from the storm, and you just hear
Alexei
Alquill
screaming.
or Alexei just like
Yep.
screaming like ah, and running
She
away.
like runs away.
I was just like, what?
Oh wait, I'm back to this. Okay.
And
Not firebrandy this time.
was that the end of your turn?
Yep.
Yeah, that was bonus action, action, and movement. So
All right, half a movement, stand up.
yes.
Healing hands yourself.
And that's gonna take everything I have just to not get one shot by him.
Would it be worth it though?
That is the thing. Would it be worth it?
I mean, we're all in here, dude.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah. You're
already
right.
all in here.
Yeah. This is like, do or die.
Like, this is the worst conditions to fight a giant, and I don't know why we thought it would be a good idea to track it in a blizzard.
I didn't think it was aware that we were following it.
Something tipped it off. The dragon tipped it off. The dragon and the giants are in cahoots.
That would be. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything that did happen in one of these modules.
Maybe it was
Oh,
the
but they hate
giant
each
fuck
other.
off dragon that was chasing after the giants.
Keep in mind, you can't see me, Alquill.
Yeah, Lucas.
Yeah, no.
I have no idea where I'm at.
I still have my movement and bonus
Seems
action.
the coward has quit the field.
Yes.
When have you ever
I mean,
seen Lucas run away, though?
I could just, I could just laugh in Quill Redwood and leave Alexei alone, but.
What was that?
I said I could just laugh in Quill Redwood and leave you alone, but I'm gonna stand my ground, and I'm just gonna stand here, and I've used my action. I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
All right. So the giants.
He's either gonna throw a rock at me, or he's gonna come running at me.
So we can't. Yeah. So he's gonna do both of those things. He can't quite get up to you for a melee attack. He's gonna throw his rock first, and then come charging after you in the wake of it. So, rock.
How dare you stand again? 1 HP, ain't it?
So you stand up, like get your shield at the ready, like you see Alexei running, and then you just see this like looming shape emerging out of the snowstorm as this like boulder of ice and rock like comes sailing for you. You quickly try to like put up your shield to block it, but your shield is like bent, dented, and somewhat damaged as the rock just slams into it and sends you like sprawling backwards. And then you can see as you like recover, the rock kind of like sails past. You can see the giant lumbering behind it, getting closer. And oh, look, there Lucas is. He's right there. He's been there the whole time.
You see him appear off to the side in the distance, just out of nowhere.
Weird.
Take my 5-foot step. 5-foot step closer. Being within range of it. Make sure I have disadvantage clicked. Hacked longbow. Does a 16 hit?
16 does hit.
Okay, it takes 16 damage, and then go ahead and add the 5 because I will be bonusing maddening hex it.
Okay.
So that's a total of 21 on that one, and here's the second one. The 14 hit it?
14 misses.
Okay. And then I'm going to use the rest of my action. Run that way. And not poof this time.
Nope, no poofing this time. All right, Alexei.
Yes.
What do you do?
I don't know. Let's see. How far away is he? 30 feet, just within range.
Barely within sight range.
All right, firebolt, I guess. All right.
When has firebolt ever been useful?
Sometimes it's
That's
useful.
20.
14 miss. I also rolled
14 will
pathetically
miss.
low on the damage as well. All right, and then I will proceed to run another 10 feet off the map, Brad.
Sure. But you're not allowed to do that. You hit an invisible wall that prevents
You hit the
passage
fog
any
wall.
further.
So I will hold up my shield, have my sword in my other hand, look up at the giant, and just wait on Vidstrop. I know it's only by your grace that I have been allowed to stand so far. Please just keep me standing a little bit more. And I will hit the side of my, the holy symbol on my shield, and I will cast Moonbeam.
Moonbeam! Alright, so you just sort of bash the symbol on your kind of dented and somewhat broken shield, holding it aloft. There's this like glow, and then like a slight like opening in the clouds above in the storm, as this like beam of silvery light kind of shines down from above, sort of consuming the giant.
And I will use 30 feet of movement to go this way.
Okay.
While still sort of banging my shield to try to keep its attention.
Very well.
And then it's a con save on this one.
Very well. So his turn. I'll make a con save. He will be
So
successful. So he takes 4 points of radiant damage. Now let's see here. There's you. There's Lucas. There's the other one, but there's you and Lucas. Okay. Yeah, so
We got it in the triangle formation, guys.
the
Triangle attack!
Formation.
Try attack!
Triangle attack.
He sort of looks around, and you can see he reaches out, grabbing another boulder, and then turns to you, Lucas,
Not so.
and he throws it at you. And just a really annoying thorn in his side. You keep appearing and disappearing.
I do, I know. I'm the thorn of Jotuns. Misses.
Woo!
Wait.
No.
No, it does not. But I am going to
You're
shield
going,
it though.
yes, okay. So you spend a lot to shield against that.
I only have 15 AC.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your last shield then, or last spell
No, I
slot?
still have one more.
Okay.
And
Oh yeah, is the blink on the invocation?
No,
Cost.
I've used blink. I've used blink and I've used shield.
I thought you only had
he
2
hasn't
spell slots.
cast any
I
other
have
spells.
3 as third.
Okay.
I have 3 at 5th level.
All right,
I've never
Lucas.
seen a warlock go past 3rd level. Nothing.
All right, of course. I see you have chosen me to be your foe. Fucking, I lost the fucking. The dragon eye just stares up at it.
Shoot it in the face now that he's closer. I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna have disadvantage no matter what I do.
Yep.
I take my 5-foot step back so I can aim up at its face. And say, I have so much treasures left to gather, Arvea, please. Hit.
16 will hit.
14, 15, 16, 17, 22. It's a maddening hex.
Okay.
Hit.
9, 10, 11, 12.
All right. This thing is looking pretty like beat up at this point in time. This arrow like sinks deep. And you can see like now this sort of like kind of like bluish black blood kind of like pouring forth from the various like wounds that it has suffered, but it's still like holding on with this sort of like tenacity.
Come now, Jotun. Meet your doom. I say as I blink out of existence and I dab on it.
The last thing he sees is just like, you're in the middle of the movement of death doing this.
Just dab.
Dabbing.
Like,
Yeah,
meet your
disadvantage
doom,
from dab.
Jotun.
Actually, the second you dab, you didn't know this, but dabbing is actually the spell component required to cancel the blink spell.
Oh, okay, sure.
So you don't know. Yeah, you disappear. Doing some weird,
Meet your
strange
doom,
dance.
Jotun. Meet your doom.
All right, Alexei.
What about me?
So you are, you can't see it, so you're like 65 feet away at this point. You
Where's
just see.
Al?
I mean, you
where's
can't
Al
see. You
going?
can't see anybody. You're running away.
Yeah, dash away, I guess.
All right. Alexei is running off into the storm on her own.
Well, it's Alexei. Da, 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 da.
I don't know where you guys are.
All right, so Alexei, you run further away, 60 feet.
Yep.
Okay.
I think next turn, if I like determine the giant's not on my tail, I'll be like, are they dead or did they kill the giant, and then try and work.
Action,
back.
move my movement onto the top of him.
Okay.
For all you know is I'm dead now.
Yeah, I
you-
just want
You sort of
I'm
gesture
moving, I'm
forth,
moving.
and you see the moonbeam slowly like across the ground.
Wait,
Uh-uh.
it rees.
No,
it's a
doing
laser.
the
It's a
sound,
beam
like,
of the moon, you know.
What do you think the beam of the moon would sound like?
It would sound like whoa, whoa, whoa.
And as my I was gonna say as my bonus action I hide. No, I'm going to drop prone and just
You're not
like
heroic.
shuffle snow onto me.
All right, so con save.
We all know giants are horrible at these.
So 6 damage.
6 damage. All right, so this this moonbeam sort of like scorches at the giant, who's like a little bit confused about like where the hell this is coming from.
Mhm.
Lucas is gone. You're prone on the ground. He's quite far away. Alexei's gone. And he just sort of like looks around for a bit, and he says, "Pathetic." And he just sort of says, "If you know what is good for you, if you're still alive, cease following us any further, unless you really wish to die." And then he is going to just trudge off like 80 feet.
In which direction?
Towards the east, so basically like this way.
It is now physically impossible for me to catch up to it and kill it.
80 feet. How close must you be to get hit it?
I gotta be 30 feet of it. I can.
You can get, if you blink, if you get out, you have 10 feet, and then you have 30 feet of movement. That's 40 feet. Then you're in.
Then I'm 40 feet away from it.
Fuck.
Yeah, he was like
I'd have to
literally right
dash.
next to it. Yeah, so. So, I think with that, basically means like battle's over. The giant has
Should've taken it.
decided to fuck off.
I mean, you could. I mean, if you feel confident, you could run
You could
like
try,
after
yeah.
it and yell, just like dash up and yell at it, and then blink out of existence again.
Don't even know it would fucking hear me.
You could try.
You could try. It's up to you.
I'm not going to try.
Okay.
All right. So Lucas reappears, see the giant kind of like lumbering off,
Prepared. Get away.
and yeah, chooses not to pursue in this case, and then the battle is over. The giant lumbers off. Moonbeam slowly chasing after it.
Yes.
All right,
So
so
it like this disappears after like a minute or so.
there is a whipping, a pounding storm. None of you can see any of the others.
So we're now blind. Now this is when you just turn on like the like the fog of war. We can't
Fog
see
of
each
war.
other.
Can't see anything. Lucas and Alquil are like close enough that like you didn't leave the battlefield too much, so you can like reunite relatively easily, especially like given the tracks or whatever.
Yeah,
Alexei, on the other
like,
hand,
I'm just essentially just like lying there, like waiting until like I hear like because the
yeah,
giant
you just hear the like.
footsteps. Yeah, and then once like it's far enough away, I'll just like peek my head, like slowly, like get up and look around. Yeah, like after like following like a little bit of the tracks, I guess I would eventually stop. Like as you said, I would stumble upon Lucas, and so you are alive. I thought you had left.
I see you're alive. I thought you were almost dead.
Yes, that is indeed correct.
Have you seen Alexei?
No, have you?
No.
All right, I'll walk up to you.
Woo.
And I'll look around, and we gotta find her. Let's look for the through the tracks, and I'll try in the chaos of the tracks on this battle to figure out where's the human tracks that should belong to a relatively light.
Well, I last saw her over your prone body where you were lying there.
So, go ahead and make a survival check to try to track down wherever the hell Alexei has run out to. Alexei, you aren't exactly like a wilderness survivalist. So I'd say like in the panic of running away from the battle, you've basically like lost yourself, and you are now like officially like lost. 16, huh? Storm conditions, lots of footprints from the battle.
Doesn't he have advantage from Nibble?
Pretty hectic. He would have advantage from nibbling, I would say. 18.
18.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
But
No, I would say in this case, probably 18 is basically right in the ballpark of where you need it to be. Alquil, it takes like a lot of time, and a great deal of effort on your part to just like try to suss out which of these tracks are like yours and Lucas's, and like, well, the giant's is obvious, but his giant footprints kind of like mess everything up. The snow is coming down fiercely, covering things up, and you are like just barely able to locate them. You won't really be able to follow the trail just because it's being covered up so quick, but you're able to like locate the heading that Alexei started running off to, and you can at least like follow that.
All right. And she must have gone this way. Come.
So you guys start chasing after Alexei. Meanwhile, Alexei, um, you have just like kind of like kept running um, for like a bit. And you eventually like kind of like come to a stop and like realize you have like no idea where the hell you are. Um, so what does Alexei do in this situation? You are alone. You can't see anybody else. It is cold. There's like a blizzard all around you, um, and you are like well and truly lost. Did he
James?
leave again? No, he did say BRB this time, I think.
Yeah, he did say BRB like back. That was when right before the second Moonbeam round.
All right. Well, why don't we take a break here then,
Yeah.
and we'll be right back. And we are back and are ready to pick up where we left off. So, just
Kill
before
me.
the break, they have defeated, or well, defeated, scared off the giant. We'll spin it. They'll spin it in their own way. Obviously, the survivors write the tale. So they scared off the giant, um, and
Mhm.
currently, Alquil and Lucas have reunited as they had not strayed far from the battlefield. However, Alexei, in the panic of the battle, having seen her companions kind of vanishing and falling, just ran off in like a somewhat random direction, and has gotten herself lost. So, Alexei, we pick things up with you, kind of panting, out of breath, a little bit from the battle and from just like running. And you take a look around. It's like you're cold. There's like a raging storm around you, and you kind of like look back and see no sign of the tracks like where you came from, and you like quite quickly realize that you have just like gotten yourself completely and utterly lost, and there is no one around you. So Alexei, what do you wish to do? What is Alexei's response to this situation?
Good question. Well, let's see. Well, I think she'd probably like after a while realize where she is and then try and find her way back. And I suppose she'd also, provided Hockey won't freeze to death, send him off ahead.
Okay. So. Um,
Hockey can like scout in front of her as she makes her way through the blizzard.
so you like begin like moving off to like you begin basically trying to find the way that you came back from in the blizzard. So you're continuing to move. Um,
Hmm.
Go ahead and give me a survival check at disadvantage.
Fuck yeah, boys. Alright. Oh, it's nibbling. Let's see here. Oh, so slow. Oh my god. Alright, here we go. Disadvantage button check. Survival. Womp.
All right, so Alexa, you begin confidently moving off in the direction that you are absolutely sure that you came from. Um, uh, and you would send like I would say like Hockey could like go up and scout, but like can't really like see anything because of the storm. It would be like hard pressed to fly in it. Um, Not exactly a creature built for flying in extreme storms like this. Um, so I
You
would
should
say
have made him a snake.
that wouldn't really help you at all. I mean, the snake would be basically like dead in this situation. So.
What, because we're cold-blooded, Brad?
um, yeah, so you begin like pressing on further and further into the snow and the biting storm. Unbeknownst to you, growing ever more and more lost, wandering off in a random direction. Um, so,
Find me,
uh,
Alquill.
Elquil and Lucas, you are following after the direction that you are sure Alexei took off in, and you're traveling for a good 5 minutes or so. Pretty confident that you're staying on the right heading. Every so often, kind of like checking just to make sure. Um, and there is still like no sign of her. Um,
It's like, are you sure this is the right way, Alquill?
It's the way that the tracks were leading, but the tracks got covered up by the snow too quickly for me to. If she turned at any point, then well,
that
Doubt she'd hear us.
at this point, you're sort of thinking like probably your only option is to just like wait out the storm and hope she doesn't freeze to death.
yeah. It's like we can wander if we wander around too much, we ourselves will just get lost. Let's find the place. Let's like find somewhere we can camp down.
Is there any
Ah,
place where we could camp?
do you have a shovel? I don't have a shovel. I should have a shovel.
I have a Dungeoneer's pack.
Does that include a shovel?
I don't know.
Please, please.
Hold on, I'm going to the equipment page.
I realized that like wait, extreme winter gear. It's no extreme winter gear. That's just the clothing, right?
Yeah.
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 No, it doesn't. It has a hammer, a crowbar. That's our two best bets.
Hmm.
Would a shovel be considered a weapon?
I mean, it would be an improvised weapon.
Could I packed weapon one?
No.
Could you pack up in like a double-bladed axe?
Yes.
Let's use that then. It's better than nothing.
Sure. A packed weapon, a double-bladed axe.
Yeah, and let's just try to dig.
I'm
dig
just whispering to myself like it was not meant to be used this way.
I say.
I mean, you could packed weapon up one of those the hell is it? Those like moon spade things. Like you've probably seen one.
No idea what you're talking about.
They're like an oriental weapon that were carried by monks. Actually, why don't you make a let's be funny with it. Make a history check.
Dude, I'm good at those.
Let's see what your knowledge of weapons is like.
It's like this, Zach.
It was 19 with disadvantage.
19, yeah.
I'm gonna take disadvantage off.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so like you in your like wanderings, there are a lot of people that come from God, what the hell is it called in
Sure.
Shar. You've like seen them around, like there was tons of them in Waterdeep. And you're pretty sure like you saw this like this far eastern traveler, like a monk of some sort, carrying this like weapon that the head of it was very similar to like a shovel. And maybe you don't exactly know why, but you recall it and think like maybe this would actually like work.
I make one. I'm assuming it will just have the stats of a halberd because that's basically what it looks like to
Yeah,
me.
it's basically just like a halberd essentially.
So there it is.
Yeah, and let's just like dig ourselves like in the snow. I just like dig a little like snow hut tunnel, just like inside of a snow pile, so we can get in and just huddle
Sure,
in.
yeah,
Because
you
that
like start like digging out and like kind of packing snow to form this sort of
Yeah.
like igloo hut kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just this real quick like job, just to keep snow from piling up on top of you.
Yes.
I'll say like it's a simple enough matter, especially for someone like you who's lived here and been through this before. So
Yeah.
you can do that. You guys hunker down. The storm rages on for quite some time. Alexei, you come to the realization that you are
Help
well
isn't coming.
and truly just fucking lost. You have no idea where you are. It is like freezing cold. I'm gonna need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Cool. All right.
What if she
Let's
freezes
see.
to death again?
Historically, these have gone very well for me. Oh well, I guess
Alright.
I can't be too sarcastic.
So, you are able to like tough it out at first, and weather the storm for the time being. However, you come to like realize like you've been kind of like walking for like an hour now, and like yeah, you are just like lost. There's
Alright,
nothing
so
around you but like white snow, in every direction.
alright, I suppose at this point, I need to try and find a place to maybe like try and hold up. Maybe see if I can find like an alcove or a cave anywhere that can provide any sort of shelter.
Looking around is just flat, like desert plains essentially. Just snow as far as you can see, which isn't very far. But
I mean, technically, the Arctic is a desert.
wandering around, nothing. Just open hills.
Okay. What have I got here?
It's starting to get to the point where all you can think about is just how fucking cold it is.
Me and Alquill just huddled together, holding each other.
And Nibelung is with us as well.
And Nibelung as well. We had
Yeah.
Nibelung turn into a large wolf.
Yeah, I guess. Like he just like help
We're
digging.
between him and Bella right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Minor alchemy can't do anything because I can't transmute water or snow.
Just trying to find a new fucking headpiece because I keep losing it.
Oh yeah, what is up with that actually?
Wow, you can't just ask somebody what's up with that.
That's just... Why not?
Hawk.
It's
Poggers.
just,
Like to cover the eyes. Just like, what's up with what?
it's just like your eye, like you have two different eyes.
Hawk can't do anything.
Never heard of heterochromia?
Hetero, what's that?
I mean, now that you're looking at it, Alquil, it bears a
Uh.
striking resemblance to the eye that that dragon had when it was like looking at you. Like very similar, like structure, and form. It's definitely not a human eye.
Yeah, it's just like
Heterochromia. Do you honestly not know what that is, or that in characters? Fuck is that?
that was in character.
Okay, I was like, I didn't know.
Because I assumed
Do
you.
I have to explain this to him?
No. I assumed you said head in a character, like
I
you never
did.
heard of.
I did. I just didn't know if you were saying yours.
Yeah, so that's why I in character answered like hetero. What's it?
It means two different eyes. Sure.
It's just like
Where we're from, we call that weeaboo.
Yeah.
two different eyes. It's just like, is that a deception really? Because it's not quite.
I mean,
not
he's
quite
not
the
really
truth,
telling
yeah.
the truth.
Yeah, no, it's not quite because it means two different eye colors. Doesn't mean two different eye. Yeah.
But then again, you don't really have medical knowledge, so.
I have medical proficiency.
Well, I mean, like, you have proficiency in like battlefield medicine. I'm talking like
Yeah.
textbook, like human
Yeah,
anatomy. kind of-
so would that be a
Science
medicine intelligence?
Yeah, like a medicine intelligence kind of thing.
That'd
Yeah.
be a 22.
Should I roll insight or should I roll medical intelligence or
I
both?
would say this would probably be probably both, honestly. Like to see if you like know he's lying from like knowledge, or like
He doesn't
just from,
sound
like
like he's lying.
saying like
Yeah, it
what-
doesn't sound
Your
like he's
knowledge
lying.
say he's bullshit.
doesn't
So
sound
then
like
it's
he's lying.
3 plus 1, so that's 4. Yeah, no, I've never heard of this, and you don't sound like you're lying. Sound like, I see. Says,
But it still bears that striking resemblance to another dragon.
yeah, so we were sitting here, and it's like, so Dragon Eye. He says,
I'm just like turning to look the other way, the way that the eye isn't staring at you.
yeah.
Yeah, and you do also remember that the dragon, like when he was talking to you, like mentioned the smell of another dragon.
Oh yeah. He's a
How many
smooth one.
lies can I pile us up to the crumbling down?
I can pitch a tent, can't I?
Well, for you alone, it would probably be difficult, but yeah, you can certainly do that.
I think that's the only thing I can do. Just try and pitch a tent, hold out.
All right. Yeah, you can do so. I'm not gonna make you roll a check. It takes fucking forever, and you're freezing cold. Why don't you give me another con save?
Okay.
Thinks intently. All right. So
Well,
at the end of the process, just from the biting cold and the exertion of like setting up the tent in this like massive windstorm, trying to not have this like leather canopy blown away on you, and you're not very strong, and this thing is huge, and there's a lot of force on it. The process is exhausting, so you take 1 level of exhaustion at the
Yep,
end, but you have
figured as much.
set up the tent.
Yep. Go in.
Um,
Wait out.
yeah,
I have a bedroll,
I'm
so I have bedroll in heavy winter clothing, so I'll try and like snuggle to like try and get as much warmth as I can.
so while we're like sitting in this tunnel, I'm just gonna like stare like down, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna like tap into my inner divine powers, and I'm
Oh
gonna
boy.
use. I'm going to send out the feelers, and for some reason it like emoted as well.
For some reason, it also emoted.
Well, I mean, you don't detect any celestial fiends or undead.
Yeah, I know, but or I figured, but it was just like, yeah, I was just like, okay, so yeah, he's definitely not one of those. I'm just,
Pet Bella.
And we'll just hang about. And
All right. So,
I don't have playing cards or anything.
eventually,
Want to play some dice?
It's just
a
like,
few
sure.
hours pass, and the storm sort of settles down to the point where you can now see again. It like passes over you, like heading further into the dales. And Alquil and Lucas and Nibelung are fine. Alexei is, I mean, okay, a little bit exhausted and completely alone in the middle of just this. Like you look around, it's just this stark white landscape, and like the freshly fallen snow is such that the sun shining on it is kind of like blinding you a bit, and it becomes incredibly difficult just to perceive like depth anywhere. Um, just due to like just how like white everything is. Um, so you can't tell like whether things are up or down, and it's actually like pretty disorienting. And
Just gonna stay in the tent and not look at that.
it's definitely not something you've like experienced before. That's for sure. Alquil, you on the other hand have experienced firsthand many times the
Does he have
effects
the
of
snow goggles?
like snow blindness. Essentially, like
Yeah.
when freshly fallen snow coats the ground, it becomes basically almost impossible to like navigate yourself because your depth perception is messed up. The reflection of the light is just blinding. Um, it is almost like as dangerous to travel in these conditions as it is to travel in the storm conditions.
Yeah.
At least for like a novice tracker.
Yeah. So just to handle something that me and Lucas are.
Oh
So me and
boy.
Lucas, while we're waiting out, we're just gonna play some dice. So what I'm saying is like we're just gonna do one dice roll against each other and bet like 2 gold, like for a total of winnings.
Sure.
You actually play
So
when?
Go
I don't
ahead.
have I don't have dice set proficiency, so you're gonna have the advantage here.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have that advantage, Thor.
And you also have those cheating dice.
Yes, I have a set of magical die that I can make roll what I want.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
So let's since you have the dice sets, it's like let's just play. So I'll. What do you think? What do you think? ODM would the sort of role for this be?
Well, if I remember correctly, it would be like 3 checks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I want to say it's like insight, um, um, like deception, and what was the last one? I think it's just like a um, flat D20 to like represent like the luck, basically.
And how would my cheating
His
dice come into play like this?
I mean, you
and
can
his
basically
proficiency.
just like, I mean, basically with like the proficiency and the cheating dice, you can basically like win two of them.
Yeah.
It's all
All
like,
right.
I mean, you would pretty much just like win guaranteed. Like there's unless he's like the luckiest motherfucker in the world,
Which I ain't.
which he's not. Yeah,
Hold
so
on. Check.
man, Lucas, like you're playing this game and you're playing a bit of I don't know, liar's dice or something. And yeah, yeah, I've got 5 6s. Alco's like
I don't do that.
bullshit.
I don't do that.
Sure you do.
Also, technically,
Hmm?
I don't have proficiency with like rolling
Oh,
dice.
I thought you had the proficiency with it. My
No,
bad.
I'm an urchin background. I don't have fucking anything like that.
Oh. So you can win one of them then, I guess. Gee, I wonder which one you can choose to win. And which ones you're gonna roll for.
Yes, I mean make your insight, deception, and flat D20 rolls, and then you can pick one to basically like win.
All right. Insight. What if I fail all 3?
Hmm.
Then you lose somehow.
I already win.
Yep.
And then a flat d20. Luck be the lady tonight.
I mean, so like you actually did roll 5 6s.
Yeah.
I actually used like the normal die on accident.
Yeah. This is like, well, fair is fair, and like I pay you up so that we win 2 gold for like the hours or whatever the time we spent
Good.
playing the dice.
Good. All right. Cool. Moving on.
Yeah. So sorry about that. It was just.
You see a gleam in the dragon's eye.
So you
Sometimes you just feel like the eye like looks on its own, like it's a separate entity.
so you emerge from your shelter, Alquil and Lucas, and like pretty quickly, Alquil, like you're like experienced with the area, despite the like conditions. There's still like a few landmarks you can like navigate by. The most
Yeah.
prominent of which is Kelvin's Cairn, this like massive like mountain, which you can
Yeah.
like sort of see in the distance. To like get a gauge of like where you are, so you're pretty confident from here you could like navigate your way to any like town. Um, it's going to be
Right.
finding where the fuck Alexei went. That's going to be the difficult part.
Yeah. So I will try to get like on like a high up place. I can get stay high and try to like see as far as I can in any direction to see if I can see anything that looks like maybe like it sticks out.
Sure, make a perception check.
Anything that could help.
Has the storm stopped now?
The storm has
Yes.
stopped.
Hockey, off he goes. Go find my friends, please.
Sure. Go ahead and do a perception check for the hawk as well. Then
Familiar.
for your familiar.
I summon my pack longsword,
I think it has advantage on sight-based checks
It
too.
does, yes.
and I have my shield out. Pack longsword and shield are out.
It's slash.
+4.
So it's 20.
20?
16 plus 4.
So you send your hawk out to scout around, and like Alquil, you climb up to like the highest hill that you can like see, and like look around, and basically, like I said, it's just like this. The effect has just created this like flat white plane of like snow in front of you, where you can't like tell whether things are up or down or anything.
Yeah. That is. I hate this. I hate that. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. I'm not gonna be able to like see her like this, and like avert my gaze a little bit, trying to
Yeah,
like,
it's just like it blinds you.
yeah,
So Alexei, you send your hawk out, and kind of like wait around. I don't know, probably like read a book or whatever while you're waiting. The hawk comes back about like 30 minutes later, um, and basically like conveys you like an image of like your friends kind of like gathered around, looking out, um, and I don't think he can actually like tell you specifically, but like can like fly up in sort of like the direction. Um, and I guess it sort of like conveys to you the feeling of a great distance.
Alright. Well, if Hockey knows the way, I'll pack up my stuff and head with Hockey.
Sure thing. So you begin moving off, and following after the hawk that's like flying up above, leading you.
I imagine
And
it's like one bit of black in the middle of
yeah,
this
there's
white
just
field.
like this like little like you can kind of see the outline of this like one bird that's kind of like flying through the sky. Um, and yeah, can you roll a d12 for me? Let's just see.
Okay.
Go for it. Do it. Do it. All right. So it takes you about like an hour of like walking and traveling, um, before like eventually the hawk like up ahead begins just like kind of like circling,
Mhm.
and Elquil and Lucas, you've been just kind of like staying put, and you see sort of like trudging over the like snow, like barely kind of like pulling herself along, tired, exhausted. Um, Alexei kind of like emerging in the distance. Like approaching
Well,
towards the camp.
and it's just like,
But you've also heard of these things called like snow hallucinations. It's like desert hallucinations, but with snow. No, just kidding.
that's just like, well, it's like
There's about a
the
50-50 chance it's her.
I don't look over. It's like
Better
it's
shoot
the
her to be sure.
like it seems you're in luck. I says, even though we had no clue where she might have been going, we have headed in the right direction.
Are you saying this to Lucas?
Yes,
All worked out in the end, it seems.
yes. Besides losing the Giants.
Yes, and having no giant heads to pull back to Markham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dragon
Trudge,
took one and the
trudge.
other one survived.
Trudge, trudge, trudge.
Trudge.
I mean, it takes probably another like 10-15 minutes after the point where you see her for her to actually like reach you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Or
Alexei,
we
you
like meet
enter,
up.
or yeah, you like meet up. So
What
Alexei,
are they taking cover in?
No,
they-
we've been moving as well. I think because we started looking for you and started moving. I imagine.
Oh, okay.
mhm.
Guys!
Hello.
I didn't know if you were all still alive. Hug. Hugs both. Did you
Pat,
kill
pat.
the giant?
No, it ran off.
Oh. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Falls to knees.
They're doing a lot of that recently.
It's so white everywhere.
Yes. Don't look at it too hard. You'll go blind.
Yeah, you'll start seeing snow hallucinations. Alquil is just telling me about those.
Wait, what?
That was a jest. That was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Alquil, you're my resident expert on these things. You can't lie to me like that.
It's one of those. It's one of those Icewind Dale jokes. You know, we tell the tourists just to scare them.
God damn it.
Oh yeah, it's all the tourists in the Icewind Dale.
Yeah. You also gotta watch out for them dingo dials.
Dingo dials.
Them drop bears.
Drop bears. They'll eat your baby. But no, it's just like, I think we should just cut our losses and head back to Group Brinchander. Says, there's no in this terrain. It will be impossible with the blizzards. The tracks will be gone, and it's impossible to track the giants. Not to mention
Oh,
dangerous.
More like that, it seems.
No, Thor's
is it
here.
No, he's here.
He's talking and you interrupted him.
Perhaps you are the one who has lagged out.
Okay, yeah, I think it was me then.
Bum, bum,
Continue, glorious
Yes.
Thor.
No, I was actually finished. I was just like, we should
Oh.
just head back to Brinchander because we can't like track the giants anymore, and it would be dangerous.
Agreed. We'll bite the bullet and tell Markham we failed.
Yeah, I just, we'll explain what happened with the dragon.
Will he believe that?
That's up to him.
All right. So let's head back then.
Yes.
All right.
So
So
we'll head to each other.
you begin to head back towards Brinchander. Elquil leading the way, using sort of the cairn in the distance as a landmark to navigate back towards Brinchander. And you're traveling for some time. It was a little bit past like sunrise when you finally like met up. But the days are long, so there's plenty of time to travel. And probably about like a few hours in, you hear this sort of kind of like
Loud.
distant like screeching kind of like roar, and like turn and just see this sort of like large silhouetted figure flying. It seems like from like the direction of the cairn, like towards you.
Oh no
Oh,
no 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 no! Oh
I
no!
summon the pack longbow out.
It's gonna kill us. It's gonna kill us
Because we failed.
because we failed.
How close are we to Bryn Shander?
Run!
I mean, if you like really hoofed it, you could probably make it there in like a few more hours.
Before
Alright,
it
let's
got
go.
to us.
I mean, things pretty fast.
Let's go.
I have a
Let's
horse.
Yeah, just cut Bella free and like just leave. Like save yourselves.
Oh, every man for himself. Is that
Every
are we
man
involved
for
into this?
themselves.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
just.
Do you think it's going to stop at if we get to the city? Do you think it's going to stop at the city and not come try to find us?
No, but we'll have a better chance of like, winning. Basically, like just you and Alexa get on the fucking horse, just run. I'll talk to it.
All right, let's ride Bella out of here, Zach.
I'll give Bella to him if he wants to get back to the city, but I'll stay.
Okay. Alexa, you have Bella at your disposal if you want to just get the fuck
Wait.
out of here.
Are neither of you guys coming?
No.
Apparently not.
I ain't gonna let him fucking be out here alone.
Why not? You guys?
I look into myself and think, what would Arvea want me to do? But I don't think we're going to die. I don't think we're going to die.
I guess me and Nibble will ride back.
If anything, we're gonna fail and it's gonna want compensation somehow.
I don't know. From what I've been told about white dragons, all they really care about is eating, killing.
I don't know. That didn't really seem like a normal white dragon.
True enough. So Alexa, you've just left on the Nimblon.
He did leave. He booked it.
Yeah.
You guys
Alexa
told me
took.
to.
Yeah. We told you to. Like, we are just being stupid. Like, because I knew we can't all escape, so I'm just like, all of you go, and I'll, stay back, and Alex and Lucas is staying with me. So yeah, okay.
All right, so Alquil and Lucas stay behind while
Wait. Important question: is Blackjack staying behind?
Oh no! I like pass him over to you. It's like take care of him. He's the only thing I have left. He's one of the only things I have left from my childhood.
I'll take care of him until you get back to the city.
Good. I need my mouse cloak back up.
I smack Bella on the rump, and she goes.
And it's like when I take it over to PC, he won't even change size or form. He will just be that small.
Anyways, so Alquil and Lucas, you stay behind Alexei and Nibble pressing on further. So like a few moments pass, and you can see the figure kind of like growing larger and larger and larger. Probably like you could tell from this distance, the wingspan's probably like 100, 200 feet or something like that. Something
Long
like
sword and shield
ridiculous.
out.
And it's like kind of like gliding towards you, and you can see now as it's getting closer, it has something like gripped in its back talons. And you could definitely like see now like the form of this dragon coming towards you.
He's gonna be carrying the giants like round 2.
And
drops the giant on us. This is like you need to finish the job.
So so this thing flies down towards you and like kind of like above you, and you see whatever it's carrying like drops from on the ground and just starts like hurtling down towards you. What do you do?
Get out of the way.
I run back away from where I assume it's going to land. I'm like, okay,
All right.
longbow time.
Both of you make me a dexterity saving throw.
Fuck, I forgot. Like technically, I guess we didn't get a short rest. Don't you just told us we got a short rest.
Oh shit, yeah. Did we technically
did we
get a short rest? Or is it too late to benefit from it?
Yeah, I
Have we
mean, you
done
weren't
too
really
much?
like, stopped. Well, I would. Yeah, I mean, Alquil and Lucas probably definitely did.
Okay.
Awesome.
Short
well.
rest button, and I'll spend 2 hit dice to begin with.
So,
spend
Lucas,
two
you
as
managed to
well.
like scramble out of the way. Alquil, however, you aren't quite able to like get far enough away. As basically like the this like half frozen corpse of this giant slams into the ground, scattering like debris and snow everywhere. Let's see here. I'll just make some damage. There we go. So Alquil, you take 18 points of damage.
Good thing I
Lucas,
short rest. Like I just got
Lucas,
the short rests.
you dodge out of the way. And yeah, so the corpse of this giant like lands near you, and then you see the like dragon kind of curve and like arc down and start diving down towards your position.
I'm back at 1 AP. There's no way for me to. I'm just gonna like.
Cover behind the
I'm
corpse.
I'm like yeah. I'm just like I'm just lying on on the snow here. And I'm just like, well, if this is it, then this is it, I guess.
I'll hop behind the giant's like prone body.
Yeah, now like it's been dropped on
Is
the
it
ground,
opening
like
its
bones
mouth?
are like.
Brah.
No, it's sort of like diving towards you, and you see it kind of like lands, like doing this like skidding landing, like stopping like right in front of where you are. Frost kind of like writhing from its breath, and it just like looks down at the both of you. It's the same dragon, the paladin still on its back with this sort of like skeletal robed figure, and it just sort of says like. Is this the best you giant slayers have? I've cleaned up after your mess, much as it tired me to do so.
I'm very sorry you had to do that. Very grateful you did, however. I'm just like sort of like lying on the ground still.
Indeed, we tried our very best, but conditions were not ideal to face a frost giant.
He said, and you think conditions ever will be ideal for you to face them, should you go to fight them head on?
I think they might be more ideal than they were last night. Or it wasn't last night, was it?
Earlier today.
Earlier today.
Then you are more naive than I've perhaps thought, little dragon.
Little drag. Wait, what? I like look towards Lucas. I look towards her. What?
I say, though this one conceals its form in the mask of a human or an elf, one of the two, I can smell the truth. As I said, you've the smell of a dragon about you.
I look towards her. Did you find anything to cover your eyes with, or is your eye still?
I'm just like, no, fuck it for now.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
looking.
nothing to find really, unless you wanted to like
Yeah.
rip off pieces.
I would
of
have to like
clothing.
rip up my cloak and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just like looking over at him and just like it's just like the heterochromia, right? I say
I can
to
feel
him,
the
like,
pieces start falling.
yeah. This is like heterochromia, right? And I'll look up at the dragon and just like I'll just say this like though it shames me to have failed, he says, I'm ever grateful that you killed this one. Says it will be like the people of 10 towns is perhaps safe for a little while longer.
It says, I do not need your gratitude. I did it because they attack my wards. They invade my territory, and so they will die.
Your wards?
Let's say these ones. they attacked a ship.
Yeah, you mentioned something a lot about that last time. He says, where is your territory? Like, there's not many ships around here.
He says, the dragon just sort of like gestures with its wings. He says, I claim the dales and the coast. All is my domain. I travel it freely.
As you should. As is your right.
Right, Quill? Right?
Alquill is just going to be silent now because, like, I think he remembers some of like the old stories about like because back in way back in a long time ago, there used to be that the people of 10 towns like paid tribute to a dragon around here, but that dragon was gone forever, basically.
That dragon was killed.
Yeah, that dragon was
Yeah.
killed, if I remember correctly.
Man.
So
How
I'm
does
just
my
like,
dragon overlord feel inside me about this other dragon?
so I'm just like thinking. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna agitate this one.
Don't worry,
Like,
I know how to prostrate in front of dragons.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. I'm not dumb enough to be like to deny a dragon when I'm basically on death's door.
You could ask it,
Um,
like, I remember long ago when
so-
you used to do that. Are you that dragon?
the dragon is sort of like gets down a little bit and he says, luckily enough for you, I'm feeling generous today.
Yeah, that's actually a good.
Plus, such a nostalgic scent your friend carried. Where is she?
She's heading back to Bryn Shander.
Is that so? He says, well. He says, you still have failed me. And there must be punishment.
All right.
And he says,
I'm like leaning onto my sword as I'm getting up now.
Dragon kind of like looks at the both of you and says, I'm sure you have many tales to tell. I grow bored, lonely.
Wish us to tell you a story.
He says, I wish for you to accompany me for a time. Entertain me. Make yourselves useful.
Accompany you where?
He says, my home.
How long is a while?
Until I grow bored of you.
Like I'm like of course just like sitting like staring like being like this dragon obviously doesn't like seem very good, but it's a dragon. Like legend.
And it sort of says like, unless you've other fitting tribute to offer.
What would
So,
be a
Lucas,
fitting
are you ready
tribute?
to pay tribute to 2 dragons now?
God
What's-
damn it. I don't think
What
my
would-
current dragon would be like, if you fucking give him those gems, I swear to God.
What I was just like, what would be a fitting tribute to such a dragon? I'm trying to
And he
think.
sort of,
I don't have anything
kinda like
on me.
puffs its chest up and it says, wealth, gold, treasure, magic.
I'm a bit short on all of those. I can only really offer my own services and powers. Say. That's just like I am, as you can see me, inhabitant of the Dales, hunter, journeyman, guide. It's just I can really only I don't really have much wealth to speak of, nor magical powers to speak of.
Strack could be like, you're all poor and I hate you.
The
That's
dragon's
just
kind of like looks looks from you to like Lucas, and he says, "And what of you, little dragon? Or is your greed too much, too consuming?"
I'm just kind of holding my pouch. My bag of holding is like, first of all, I am no dragon.
You're
Do you
right.
want?
You are a mockery of one. Perhaps I should kill you where you stand.
Oh my god.
Prostrate quickly. Prostrate.
Do I have any guiding influence from my dragon overlord, Brad?
Should we accompany it? Like, I'm kind of interested. If I'm being honest.
I mean, you
Is the
you would know
party getting
your
split? Am I
patron
gonna
is kind of
follow
like
character?
distant and really only talks to you when it wants something. It's not
Mhm.
like a presence that guides you or anything like that.
Ah,
Although if you
no.
do something that it doesn't
Upsets
like,
it, it will
it's
know.
it's going to know.
Because it's watching, it just doesn't ever fucking do anything. Unless it wants something. Like, I
How
can't...
how dare you not interpret my silent
That's exactly it.
Turns out being eternally bonded to a being of power kind of sucks.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
No, but like,
shouldn't have cheated. Should have gone to wizard school like a normal person.
I can't give you what I have. But if it will appease you, I believe me and Alquil will be willing to accept your first half of your terms of accompanying you. But what is mine is mine.
See like some like frost kind of
Rip.
building off of the
Rip.
the dragon's mouth. It says, "The corruption runs deep within you. Perhaps you are more dragon than you thought." And it says,
Kind
"But
of
very
probably
well,
fucking a little bit of a snarl.
very well. Then allow me." And the dragon like reaches out with its like front talons and like grabs around the two of you. I assume you're like not resisting.
No, like I don't even have the strength to resist really.
I guess there's nothing of us telling our friend.
And it says, "Do not worry, they have not gone far. I can catch them."
Ah, so they are part of this deal as well then.
It said, "But of course."
Please be extra gentle with the horse.
It's gonna eat the horse. I'm calling it. He's gonna eat the horse.
All right, so the dragon grabs you two and begins to like take off.
I believe I can fly.
It's kind
It's
of
what I
this,
would do if
like,
I was also terrified. In this
exciting, terrifying, like horrible, like oh god, we're all gonna fucking die. And like the dragon takes off. There's like this blast of wind around it, kicking up the dust and the snow. And then takes off. Meanwhile, Alexei and Nibelung are just kind of like running away, and basically we see this scene of them like running away, and this dragon just like swooping down behind them. And Alexei, you just like you kind of like hear this like loud like flapping of leathery wings behind you, and you just turn to see this dragon with like Alquil and like Lucas in its front talons, like swooping down to like grab you with its back talons.
welcome,
Hey!
welcome to the flights. Like, please keep your arms and legs inside the dragon at all times.
What's going on?
And
Alquil, Lucas, what's
you just
going
feel
on?
these two talons like grab around you and Bella and Nibelung and just like lift you up into the air.
This is amazing.
What's going on?
The dragon wants us to tell its stories. I shout
I
back.
get a fucking second eye from this.
Wait, what? It wants to hear our stories?
Yes, so it's taking us back to her lair far up north.
Oh. Oh. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Yeah, and then you see the dragon like kind of like breaks off more towards like the northwest and begins just flying for a while. You're probably flying for maybe like hour and a half, and eventually it gets to the point where you're like over the sea of moving ice, the icebergs and glaciers that kind of lie at the outskirts of the dale. And it eventually gets to the point where you can't even like see like um like the dale anymore. You're just like kind of flying over this mix of ocean and ice. And uh eventually like it flies down to this like massive kind of like iceberg uh like cave that has been like carved into the side of of an iceberg. And like you can see it flies into the entrance, like drops you all at the entrance, and kind of like glides in, landing. And you can see inside. It's basically just this big hollowed out cave with, in the back of it, there's just like piles and piles of treasure, gold, silver, platinum. There are a number of like chests kind of like scattered around. I mean, you also notice off to one side there's what appears to be this sort of like almost like makeshift library of sorts. Like there are bookshelves, kind of like a study has been set up, and there are a number of these like staves and wands kind of in display cases. All of it very like pristine and like well cared for. I can see the as the dragon as it lands kind of is like unclapping the palanquin, and like reaches up and like grabs it to like set it down in this like study area. Um, and then it like turns to you and it says, "Welcome. Not many mortals get the chance to gaze upon my lair and live to tell the tale."
I'm just staring at the large piles of treasure.
Yeah. So I look around and yeah, amazement, and it's
Mouth
just like
agape.
Take a step
uh,
towards the treasure.
Are there any like historical artifacts here, Brad?
Maybe.
uh,
You see the dragon kind of like approaches back and kind of like nestles up into like the pile of treasure, kind of like sitting down next to it, um, like on its like four like legs, kind of like down, and it like turns its head to you and sort of says, "Well," it says, "I didn't bring you here for no reason."
yes, of course. There was stories, boredom, as you said.
Yes. First and foremost, I am curious. The
Right?
girl. She has a nostalgic scent to her. A smell of a city I am familiar with.
I'm from
She smells
Waterdeep.
like shit.
And she says, "Yes, you are from that great city of Waterdeep, are you not? Tell me, how is it somebody came to be so far up north from that place?"
And she says, well, I was given a task to come up here.
A task. By whom?
Uh, well, the Blackstaff. And let's see, and that name is, yeah, Vadra Safahar.
Ah, that wannabe that clings around at Silverhand's neck. Hmm, I'm well aware of her. Says, and you are her minion, then?
Well, her student, in a sense.
Says, what is it that this Blackstaff wants up here in my domain?
And
So far from the splendors of the city.
she says, well, recently we received an odd letter at the tower, one written in a cipher. We haven't been able to translate it, but it was sent by a big. It was delivered by a huge bird, only native to the Dales, and I was sent up north to investigate it since I've been up here before. That's all. Still very scared, sweating.
Dragon kind of like looks you over a bit, and it says, "You need to work on your delivery. Your story does not have enough embellishments, enough excitement."
Looks at Alquill. Was that the goal?
As it's like she whispers like she's bored. She wants to be entertained.
She says, "I thought you of noble blood were better at embellishing the facts, lying through your teeth."
She just starts like stuttering and like tripping over her words.
And she says, "I see you eyeing my treasures." I said,
Hand out, reaching.
Oh my god, no!
and she turns
Just
to you,
admiring.
says, "Little dragon."
What was that?
Little dragon.
Yes, just
Says-
admiring.
She says, "How is it that you came to be here?" Perhaps you should, and you can see like the claw like in front of you, kind of like blocking the sight, and like starts like pushing you away. "Admire from a bit further back."
Back up a bit. I came to retrieve something.
Retrieve something. And this patron of yours sent you.
Indeed. Lady Arvea sent me.
This Lady Arvea. What manner of creature be she?
Do I want to lie to a dragon?
It's taking an
I think
awful long
you-
time to
yeah.
consider this.
I'm probably just staring up at it. Like, I'm sure you've already guessed.
She says, "I can see the marks upon you."
They're not hard to miss.
She says, "But I'm curious, for I have never heard nor seen of a dragon of such a type. And I know all the dragons of the north and further beyond. Whence from do you hail, little dragon?"
Oh my god. I wrote down the village. I don't remember where it is exactly. I remember the name. I have the name written down, but I don't remember where it was. So I don't know. I'm sure he'll probably know where it is. I imagined it was like kind of like, like in the woods kind of thing, in like the middle part of the Shattered Coast.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was raised in the a village called Barneck. It no longer stands there anymore.
Is that so? What happened to this village of yours?
God, where did I write it down? I wrote shit down somewhere. Oops. What happened was that some bandits came in through and ravaged the town, killed damn near everybody. My family included.
How unfortunate.
Single teardrop.
You mortals are always so attached to your families and your friends. I imagine it must have been quite hard on you. So how is it that you survived?
See.
Let's get into this tragic backstory. Come on.
Well, I'm also trying to like remember because it's been so long and I wasn't expecting to come up. Or because I know I wrote it down somewhere is the thing. I just don't know where I have it. My parents was just my mother was just lucky enough to have me hidden away before they arrived to where we were.
How noble. A mother sacrificing herself for her child. Foolish, I say. Regardless,
Kind
says
of fucking stare daggers at that one.
she says she kind of like looks at you and she says you hold a strange power. He says it is not of your own making. You hide in obscure details. Is it to protect yourself or to protect somebody else? Curious. That perhaps I should keep a closer eye on you. She sort of like looks around a bit. She says, but still, yet another boring story. Perhaps you, and she kind of like glances over towards you, Alquil, have something more entertaining.
I don't know how entertaining it will be compared to the noble lineage of my of Alexei and the mysterious path of Lucas. My story is unfortunately a rather straightforward one. I am, as I said, I was born in the Icewind Dales, in the village of Tourmaline. My father was a warrior who came from the south, didn't really know anyone. And my mother is perhaps the most interesting. Supposedly, she was an everyone called her an ice witch who had appeared out of the blue during one blizzard. My father took her in, and the two quickly fell in love, and so I was born. So, supposedly, my mother had some mysterious powers to control the winters, which is I've inherited a little bit. I say, and I set my blade on like sheeted with like booming blade energy as I'm doing this. Says, but alas, she died when I was quite young, so I was never really taught much about it or about her. He says. My father trained me in the martial arts, made me into the warrior that I am. We remained while I say we lived in Tourmaline. We lived more in the outskirts, in the woods. My father was a bit of a loner compared to the rest. We had a amicable relationship with the people of Tourmaline, but we also traded with all sorts of folks that came there. Dwarves from the valley, the Utgard tribesmen who came through. No, are they called Utgard in this area? They're not called Utgard. They're called Regheads. The Reghead tribesmen who came through our woods, or came through the woods. And the most notable friend, I say, that my father had, which might perhaps upset you, was a traveling stone giant named Einjar Steinkastar.
Friends with Steinjorten.
Says, hold that thought. I'll get to it. For years, Einarjar would come up to the Icewind Dales and journey through the frozen wastes just to meet with my father. He came, sat down, spoke. He traded some of his old and strange items, and my father would give him something in return, something of my father's own creation. And then he would leave. And then the next year, or perhaps not even the next year, the year after that, he would return. Yes. And this process would repeat itself. And so it did over the years. Until one day, one year, the giant had a very different sort of demeanor to him, he says. He came, and just as my father was coming out to greet him as normal, instead of stopping, he didn't even stop. He just reached down, plucked up my father in his hand, and within moments my father turned to stone before my eyes, and he fastened him to his own belt before journeying off. Since then, I have not seen the stone giant. And quite honestly, if I did see him, well, I would either destroy him or die trying. See. After my father's disappearance, my life became one of wandering through the dales, offering my services as a guide to adventurers, trying to gather information about any sightings of giants or the likes, trying to find mysterious creatures in the dale or beyond, talking to all sorts of strangers. And eventually I met upon these fine people. This was 9 years ago, that was. And that led to a whole other series of adventure. I'm not sure how up to date you are on things that have happened in Dales, since this is your domain, after all. Sort of like pause there.
Dragon sort of looks you over and says, I do not keep apprised of the ongoings of the small mortals that fill these lands, where I have greater concerns. In fact, it was not until the Jotun began to act out against my wards that I struck out this far from my lair. He says, I would hear of your tale. He says, it perhaps sounds interesting. And I mean, you don't have to sit here and regale the dragon with the whole tale. You can basically, we could just say, oh yeah, you tell the dragon the tale or whatever.
Yes.
And I will be right back 1 second.
Okay.
All right.
Brad's dead. All right, guys,
Stream
how are we gonna steal the treasure?
Stream's still going, so keep talking.
How are we gonna steal the treasure, guys?
We're not.
Yes, we are.
Are you insane? I'm not making an enemy of this dragon.
I need the money though.
Alexei, I feel so bad for you both.
What?
Oh yeah, we have tragic backstories. We're the edgelords. I'm the open edgelord. You're the hidden edgelord.
The hidden edgelord.
Oh man.
Yeah, Alexei, I feel so bad for you guys.
Making me spill my fucking secrets.
Yeah, same. It's like, but it's like at this point, I'm like, yeah, I just have to tell her something that she might find interesting. She doesn't like giants. Well, I have this story. Let's just go with it.
I mean, I could have said more interesting things, but like, I don't want to fucking tell you, you stupid dragon. I don't want to tell you about another dragon.
Alexei feels so bad for both of you. Guys are getting hugs after this.
I want no fucking hug.
Yeah, you are.
I want to steal this fucking treasure.
What's more valuable, the treasure of money or
Treasure.
the treasure of friendship? Oh, okay.
Treasure.
Right.
That's so. There you have it.
Treasure of money, which like can buy a life. I'm just trying to like fucking scoot up against any of these treasures, and he's like, nope, claw hand. I'm like, you motherfucker. So I'm just standing in the middle of the fucking in the middle of the cave, hands crossed.
I mean, Slim Sadie, I like arrested. Aldo Fletcher. Oh, yeah, Aldo Fletcher never came back up again, so I'm pretty sure he can just not important. She's now the leader of
Look who's
new
back.
leader of Dwarven Valley.
I am back. Sorry about that. Yeah. So basically, you spend time regaling the dragon with tales of the Crystal Crusaders or whatever, and I mean, essentially this dragon keeps you prisoner here in its lair for like the remainder of the day. Um, Basically, like you telling your stories. The dragon tells you a few of her stories. Uh, there's not really much. She doesn't give away much. But you can tell she talks with fondness of times when her and her master would like travel the lands. And basically like uh, kind of like you get the feeling that they were like kind of up to no good. Like her master wasn't a good guy. Um,
Mm.
uh, but like she speaks with like fondness of it. And she's sort of like um she does like tell like stories of like some of the treasures in her like her hoard, like how she came upon them. Um, Tells times of how uh she would like attack ships for tribute or whatever along the coast. Um, uh, all sorts of times when she would have to like attack them, times when they gave up, and like goes into detail about like the looks on their faces as she like grabbed onto the mast or whatever. And um, she like talks about some of the treasures that she has. Definitely like looking over like at the study over to the side where the palanquin has been placed.
Mm.
There's like there is a lot of um what looked to most likely be like kind of like rare and powerful magical items. And she like tells you of a few a few of like the staves that her master had. And like she speaks with like a fondness again, like these are things like she's had for a long time and like values like greater than any like just normal treasure. um which is why like Lucas, when you began like walking up towards it, like she was very quick to like impose a claw between you and like getting anywhere near that stuff.
Yeah.
um
So during the exchange, I would bring up the. I don't remember the name of the other ice dragon that used to rule the Icewind Dale, but was killed. I think it was Drizzt who killed it, wasn't
it was
it?
called Icing Death, I think.
Yes. That was the one under the one we actually killed with during like the last one as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is true. Yeah. So like I would bring up like because we did tell a story about how we killed the undead like icing them, and I would just be like. I remember like hearing like my father told me these tales. Or no, perhaps not my father. But perhaps it was Clyde from the East Haven Inn or whatever it's called. He is East Side Inn, I say. That's many years ago. The Icewind Dales were under the domain of Icing Death, the dragon. I says, and that did you take over after Icing Death, or was Icing Death one of your like servants, or?
Says I have ruled these lands for quite some time, but I am often away, or in my lair. Others show up, claim dominion. They learn their place eventually. I didn't even have to teach that one a lesson. The humans did it for me. A fool
Yes,
that one was to get involved with humans.
I see. Yes, the Icing Death demanded tribute from all of the Icewind from all the 10 towns, and as a result, a group of heroes known as Drizzt and the companions came up and killed him.
Says That is what you get when you make deals with humans and trust them to keep their end of the bargain. He says, were I this dragon, I would have simply shown up and taken what I want without warning and left.
A fair
Far
strategy.
harder to set an ambush that way.
I can see that. I can see the reasons behind that. Yes. You are clearly wise in such matters.
You do not grow to such size and such years by being a fool. Many younger dragons are fools, but not I. Besides, my master has taught me well the ways of magic and the way that you humans operate.
Master. It's like, and who is your master?
She gestures over towards the like skeletal figure on the palanquin. She says, I am sorry that he has not spoken all this time. He is tired in his old age. But my master, the great wizard Melthorond, said back in the day we would fly here and there, inflicting terror and fear upon people. He was a great and powerful wizard. She says, my spells pale in comparison to his, but even now I look after him and his treasures. Said, it was through him that I was aware of your girl's capability, the spells she had access to.
I see. I understand. Like sort of like look over at the master, the skeleton. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it because that's like I wouldn't ask. I wouldn't need to ask.
And you do not detect the presence of any celestial fiends or undead.
So I just like have the like basically in character has this like right. Then I just give a nod and it's like many thanks for your aids. I say and nod my head.
Yeah, you see the dragon sort of like looks out and you can see now like the sun has been like setting. It says, well, at least one of you knows how to tell a tale. It says, it has been a long time since I spoke with some of the littler folks. It's a long time indeed. Says, I thank you. I grow lonely in my old age. Says, tell me, what is it that you wish to do?
It's like thinking for a moment. It's like the ice opens. I say, will they return?
I fear so. There has been a shift. Giants, the Jotun, they have. Something has changed. The status quo has been broken.
Status quo. How? So it's like I heard news as well. Uh, all over the Sword Coast. The Jotuns are going wild and wreaking havoc. They've never done so before.
No, they were always kept in line. Says, I do not know much of what has occurred myself, but the unifying force behind them, the one that kept them in line, has vanished. There is nothing stopping them.
Could I make perhaps a religion check to see, because I've had dealings like with the stone giant before.
Mm-hmm. I would say yes, but it would be at disadvantage.
Yeah,
Just because it's such like an obscure.
that's fine. I just wanted to see if I could. Yeah, no.
No, yeah, you're not really like you're not really sure like any like religious implications behind this, at all. But she says, I believe the giants will be back. They are looking for something. He says they have increased their attacks lately upon ships, cities on the coast. She says they have excavated old artifacts from a kingdom long since fallen. Perhaps
What
they are
king?
searching for ancient glory. She says,
What?
I would not expect you to have heard of it. It was a long, long time ago, before even I was born.
That's long.
She
I
says,
say.
there was once a kingdom of giants that ruled all of the lands that you humans now live in. She says, there was a war. The Jotun and the dragons. A bitter war fought over 1,000 years to a stalemate. It brought about the end of the Jotun Empire and the dragons alike. A war, the repercussions still echo through time. I do not know much about it. Never cared to learn. Felt it not important.
Do you think that they perhaps are trying to reenact this war or start it again?
She says, I do not feign know the Jotun's motivations. She says, all I
Fair
know is
enough.
they search for something.
Yep.
They go where they are not wanted.
All right. Do you know where the frost giants came from?
Says, I have seen their boats, their longships. It was too dangerous for me, even, to get close. Even a dragon such as myself cannot take an entire clan of giants and hope to survive would be foolishness. Somewhere to the south,
Somewhere in the
amongst,
south.
she says, somewhere amongst the ever shifting glaciers and icebergs of the sea.
Right. Since well, I cannot speak for what everyone is going to do, but for myself, I know that for as long as the Icewind Dales are in danger, I cannot leave this be. Since I'm going to, if there's even a sliver of a chance that the Ice Jotuns will return to the Dales, then I must see that chance removed.
She says, if you are to do that, you must find what they are searching for.
Quite, yes. It makes
Says,
sense, I suppose.
but
Do you?
know that should you claim what it is they want, you will make yourselves the target. She says, you had trouble fighting but one of the East Jotun by yourselves. Do you think you could handle their combined might?
Then I'll just grow stronger.
Oh my god, that's so fucking anime.
Simple yet effective.
It's really the only option I have, I say.
Dragon sort of like nods to this. Says, "I can appreciate such a mindset. Yes, if you are not strong enough to take what you want, to do what you want, you must become stronger, strong enough to do it. Such is
I
the way of
nod.
the world. Might makes right."
I nod.
Our Quill is more of a dragon than Lucas.
More of a white dragon, apparently.
He says, "The hour grows late. I've kept you long enough, I think. It has been good company." He says, "But I think it's time that you get moving on. Besides, that one is eyeing my things. I don't appreciate it."
I scowl towards Lucas.
Contemplate casting Mage Hand.
Oh my god.
I got a question. Do you know anybody by the name of Artist Simber?
Session over. Bum.
She says, "Artist Simba. Can't say that I do."
Oh. Can I insight that?
Sure.
Insight the dragon. I rolled to seduce the dragon.
I mean, it's a fucking dragon, dude. You can't. You've never like had to read a dragon.
Yeah.
Like
Dragons can poly into people, can't they? You know,
Some
maybe if
can.
you seduce it maybe if you seduce it well enough, it'll turn into a person.
No. It wasn't. He was referring to my insight roll.
I rolled insight as well.
Yeah, I mean, same sort of like thing. Like it's a dragon. I mean, how do you know
Fair
if
enough.
it's lying or not? You can't tell. You've never really dealt
Been
with
able
these
to.
kind of creatures for long.
What about, and then I want to describe the ring that we know that Artist Simber has. That
Do we know that? Yes. Did
we
anyone
know
tell
that? I
us?
thought Beldora told us.
Well, she told you like of the ring, but like not what it looked like or like.
Yeah, I'm
anything,
just
like,
trying to describe what it does.
Yeah.
And then know anything of a ring like this?
I have heard stories. They call it the ice that never melts. The ring of winter. She says, "I do not know much of it. I know it is dangerous. I know that if I could have such a thing, I would want it. I imagine a great many people want it."
Such as giants.
Perhaps. Said, "If half of the things I've heard about this ring are true, the giants could use it to do a great number of things. They say that it could even be used to plunge the world into an ice age."
That sounds good.
The whole world?
And then some.
Right.
Said,
Nod.
"This is not some common ring you'd find at a shop in Waterdeep."
Ooh,
I feel
that's
like-
shade.
Yeah, I feel like you just threw some shade at me. What the hell?
She's just very disappointed about your storytelling and the fact that you lack of any interesting details in it.
Her life's not been very interesting. That's the sad part.
Thank you for the information.
Yes, and thank you for your hospitality, he says. But as you said, perhaps we should be on our way now.
Very well. Where do you wish to go? I shall take you there. It's the least I can do.
Okay, guys, like out of character. Where do we want to go? Do you want to go back to Prince Shand, or do you want to go somewhere else?
I want to go to Waterdeep. No, I want to go out of that Dales, please.
Well, let's see. We don't really need to go back to Bryn Shander for any plot relevant reasons, do we?
We don't need to go anywhere
mean,
for plot relevance reasons.
You have to report to the sheriff still.
We ain't gotta do shit.
We don't
I-
need to.
I guess that is.
You know what? We can write him a letter.
Bryn Shander.
I don't know. We have to find this ring, right?
There was also that gnome inventor who has the implements for like climbing on giants.
I'd rather go straight to fucking.
I mean, going to Waterdeep could be a good first step. It's a big metropolitan area. Someone might know something. There could be libraries.
Could go to Waterdeep, yeah. And write the sheriff a letter.
Yeah, I mean, how are we doing this?
Brad, take us to the really laggy world map, please.
uh,
I mean, if we go back to Bryn Shander, like, what's the goal?
Yeah,
Huddle,
that's
everybody, huddle. Give us
Okay,
one
yeah.
moment. I'll say to the dragon, we're huddling.
Okay, so
humans always so indecisive.
it's about just finding out what our goal is right now. Sorry. And then, yes, the main quest, the only main quest I can see, like, stop the giants. The only way we know to stop the giants is find the Ring of Winter. To find the Ring of Winter, we need Arthas Cimber.
Why is finding the Ring of Winter going to stop the giants? It's just going to make us the target for the giants. It ain't going to stop them.
We have to find it. We have to find
Before them, it's a race kind of thing.
Okay.
a race, but we have no idea what Arthas Cimber is. I
Okay.
don't think he'd still be here. If
No.
he's trying to keep the ring for himself, he's not going to be up here. I think he would have, gone south, like realistically.
Yes, we need to try to find.
The closest
if-
person we know with any relation to him is Sirik.
Yes,
And he was going to somewhere to talk to some friends about
He was going-
finding him.
He was going to try to head into Waterdeep.
Sword Coast.
Perhaps we
High
go to
rise.
him and just go with him. Or do we want to cut in front of him that badly? I'd rather go with him if he has the connection.
Yeah, he has some connections, and he might be able to, like, because that also gives us a plausible deniability of, like, he wants to find his dad.
Yeah.
Wait, who's this? Sorry.
Sirak, the priest, Sirak of Susrael.
Do you think
Where's
he
he?
left yet?
I don't think he's left late. No, he was. We literally only been a day from Bryn Shander, and he was. We left like relatively middle of the day, and he was going to have to like do some things in the town before leaving. So yeah, I think we
even
should
if
just
he
go.
did leave, we can catch up to him.
Yeah, we should go to Bryn Shander. And then we can report to sheriff, find Sirak, and start heading to Waterdeep with him. I think that's like the best idea. What do you think?
Would Sirik be helpful?
Did you ignore everything we just said?
I mean, like, yeah, I heard it, but I'm like, I don't know. Is that a guarantee? I don't know.
I mean,
Nothing guarantees. Nothing.
nothing is a
guarantees.
guarantee.
This
Yeah,
is just
okay.
like stacking the
fine.
chips.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Fine. We gotta pull on a thread, even if it is tenuous. Fair enough.
Yes, exactly. Okay, yeah. So we turn back to Dragon. Bryn Shander.
Finally.
Uh,
Very well.
This conversation is in real time.
Hold tight, and the dragon sort of like reaches out to grab all of you.
Yep.
And yeah, I think we sort of like end off on the scene of you guys flying out of this like iceberg cave in the middle of like bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
Shut up, Zach.
And yeah, the dragon like flies off into the sunset, and kind of like plops you down maybe like an hour or so outside of Bryn Shander,
Yeah.
and then just sort of like bids you farewell.
Do
Returns to
not
doing
disappoint me.
whatever the fuck dragons do.
Yep.
Probably just get more treasure.
And I think we will end things
kept
off with
my
you
treasure.
guys sort of approaching the gates of Bryn Shander once more. And we will pick
I
it
want
up.
to imagine the walk back is very silent, as we have all learned some things about each other that we wish no one would we could have just
Oh,
kept
you-
to ourselves.
Lucas would have 100% gotten like a hug off Alexa and be like, Lucas, I didn't know you went through so much.
Like, please
Yeah,
get
and
off
then
me.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'll just probably like as I'm like walking up to go like to the head of the front, I'm just like patting Lucas on the shoulder and as I pass him by.
Please don't touch me. Everyone's just sad now. I was like, oh, you got
You
a
tell
dragon.
Alexa to get off.
So next week, we will be back, same time, same place. Hopefully Mike will be back, and we
Have Tom.
even have Tom. We'll see.
Yes.
For the time being, thank you all for playing. It's always great having you. And
Yes.
Zach, you are in charge of next week's recap according to this order.
Alright, I'll try my best.
So please make sure it's at least accurate.
I will
And
write nothing, but I will remember it.
And I'll see y'all next week.
Once upon
Bye
a time,
bye.
So long.
we made a deal with